Oh well, I'm sure they're going to sell themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Some kid will buy them.
All Smiles was asking, where do you get the merch from?
You can go to descaled.org. That's how you try where it says descaled, and all you gotta do is put a .org, and it'll take you right to the store. Very easy.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find the.
Hey, can we settle where we're going next?
Do what?
Florida. Do we settle where we're going next?
It's either Florida, California, Chicago, or Texas.
Why don't we just go back to Texas, man? Let's go back to your spot. I think there's a lot of people. Because the first time I went to Texas, it was basically just me. You know?
Yeah, I'm down to. I'm in Houston, so.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah, I think we should do a Texas reunion.
I don't mind going to Texas either.
What do you say, Bill?
He said he don't mind going to Texas either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all go to Texas. There's a few churches we can go to, like Sunday early service. And then I'll go hang out at a little church, little old Texas church down here, where you don't look bad if you walk out and go in and walk out as you. I'm gonna get Dre. Hey, Dre, I'm gonna get you in one of them churches to speak on the topic for 10 minutes.
All right, bet.
All right, you pick the topic.
I actually got a.
We don't have to hold. We don't have to hold snakes in those churches, right?
Well, one of them you do, bro. One of them you do. Matter of fact, that you don't just hold the snake here. You have to subdue it. You got to kill it, and you got to make a belt out of it. Got to make a belt out of that bad boy, snake skin.
You got to tell the snake, in the name of Jesus, roll over. And if it doesn't roll over, then you don't have the Holy Spirit.
No, you gotta speak to it like a Harry Potter kid. You got a Harry Potter that snake. No, you got.
Hey, give yourself the big screen shot.
Oh, let me see.
It looks like we're back up live on YouTube.
All right.
So if there's anybody who wants to get on there,
yeah, we definitely.
come on with it.
Yeah, we definitely need some people over there. Or at least everybody hop over there and give it a like, and don't just seconds or two or maybe 5 minutes, please. Whoever.
Hey, Trot, did you see by any chance the video of Kamala Harris when they were asking her about inflation and what she's going to do? What else is she going to do to help it? Did you see that?
When was this? I guess no, I didn't. I know I didn't see it. When was this conversation?
It was pretty recent. I don't know the exact date, but it was pretty recent because people have been posting videos about it. And they asked her, like, what else are you going to do about inflation? And she was like, she said, well, first we have to understand what inflation is. So prices have gone up. And when prices go up, the cost of living has gone up. It was pretty funny, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'll send it to you. I was like, yo, this is why they try to, you got to be pretty witty, man, to be the president of the United States. Even if you BS your way through stuff, like you can't not answer any kind of question whatsoever. So to me, it was pretty bad, bro. She looked like she was caught like a deer in the headlights. You know, when you're on TikTok and you debate somebody, you say, hey, why is the book of Matthew say that he quoted Jeremiah when it's really Zechariah? And then you can hear the Christian waffle like, well, when Jesus wrote the scriptures, they just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
She sounded like that.
Bro, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you what they did. Go ahead.
That part, the part that got me was when she said, and that costs his family, more money.
It was pretty bad, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
So prices have gone up. Things are more expensive. And that costs people more money. Come on, bro. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Bro.
It was pretty bad, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty bad. It shows that to be the president of the United States, you do have to have some kind of skills and economy, like understanding, inflation, understanding cost of living, understanding how to bring the market back, like some kind of like financial like wittiness. And I will say that's where Trump is pretty smart in that area. He knows exactly how to trick the system to make it happen. And I think that's what we need right now.
Well,
bro.
Well, let me tell you this real quick. Let me say. Hold on. Let me say. No, I'm gonna keep forgetting, bro, because I've been trying to say this. I keep forgetting. I'm gonna tell you what I really believe they did, bro. This is my opinion, okay? But I believe they allowed forgetful Freddie, what's his name, Biden, that they allowed him to run on purpose. On purpose, bro, because one of those debates, he had to do at least one debate. It ain't gonna, bro, it's not gonna look good at this point. So they let him go through that first debate so it wasn't her in that first debate. That's what.
Yeah, 100%.
They did it on 100%. Purpose. They threw him under the bus. They already weren't gonna put him in there, bro. So they put him up there. Mm-hmm. They already knew that he was gonna look like a goofball. They already knew. I mean, my 10-year-old niece would have done better in conversation than what the heck he had going on. And I'll tell you another thing that's getting on my nerves with this dude, Biden, dude. I'm being dead serious. If you pay attention to his videos, 90% of the time, when he's asked a question, as soon as he asks a question, he goes, 2 things. 1, every time, bro, every time. So, Mr. President, 2 things or 3 things. Like that's his little precursor that he has so he can start thinking about something to say, bro. I'm like, bro, stop it, bro. 2 things. First off, I'm like, okay, now that you had 30 seconds, bro, now that you had 30 seconds to think about what you're going to say, and he's been doing this for a long time. You go all the way back to when he's like 40, bro, same thing. They ask him a question, 2 things. 1.
Hey, let me tell you this. And this, my buddy posted this. One of my buddies from the Marine Corps, he posted this, and it's so true. I posted it on my story, but it's funny because Biden is the guy that fired servicemen and women for not taking the COVID-19. But yet he opened the doors to all illegal immigrants without a shot.
Yeah.
But you fired Marines. Like you kick Marines out of the service for not taking the shot, but then you open up the borders and allow everybody to come through here without a shot.
Yeah. Oh no. They don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about that.
Dog.
They don't want to talk about that.
Nah, bro.
They don't want to talk about that.
I was so hot, bro.
Now all of a sudden, COVID ain't killing everybody now. People are getting COVID. I know people right now who are in the hospital. No death, bro. No life-threatening issues. All of a sudden, COVID just stopped killing people, bro.
Good. Not only that, look at Fauci. He's the man, right, of disease and all this stuff. And where was he right now? In a week in the hospital because he had the West Nile virus.
Oh, the dude's in hiding. I don't even believe he's sick. I believe they're trying to they're like, oh crap, let's get this dude out of the picture. Nah, I don't believe none of that. I don't believe none of it. And then we
I heard somebody the other day, they were like, Trump putting families in prisons in the border. That wasn't started by Trump. That was started by the Obama administration. And I actually worked there. I went there. I worked there. I saw the facilities. People are just be lying. They don't know nothing, bro. They just believe whatever they're told.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point I was making, and again, this is my opinion, but they knew that she was the vice president, they knew that she was going to run. Like, they knew that she was going to be the runner-up, bro. Like, they knew. And I'm talking about under Biden. So they told Biden, hey, go to this debate. Why? Because we don't want to make her go to the debate. So you go to the debate. So now that debate means nothing. It means nothing now because Trump hasn't debated her yet. That's how they think. But bro, people ain't dumb. They know exactly why y'all are negating that debate.
Hey, my buddy said April 21st, 2024, they told us Biden was perfectly fine. April 22nd, 2024, he's not good to run. Put Kamala in the next day.
Bro, they're so liars. They're such liars, dude. They're such liars, man.
And I think Biden is not happy about it because I haven't seen him in weeks, bro. I have no idea what this guy's been at, bro. He's soaking somewhere.
Bro, he don't know he's not running. They probably got him. Listen, They got him in a fake room. Fake reporters asking him questions. He thinks he's in a press right now somewhere. It's fake. He ain't doing no press. It's all fake cameras, fake everything.
That's funny.
You know, see, they're doing the same thing with her. And they did a video side by side of her in one state and then in another state, word for word. She said the exact same thing. Everything, word for word. Not like Trump. Trump goes and he ad-libs, he tells it like it is. He goes, you know, he takes questions, not her. She won't take a question. She's in hiding. And how come they have a debate and they don't want no public? They don't want no people in the debate.
Yeah, they don't want nobody in the debate, bro. When is she supposed to debate Trump?
I don't think she wants no smoke, bro. I don't think she is debating.
Well, I'm not asking. I'm not asking if she wants to. There has. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. There has to be, bro. No, there has to be debates when it's in November, bro. Like presidential elections. There has to be, or October. Oh no.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up. Somebody said September. That's right. I think it is September. My bad. But I'm saying for November, before November, they have to have a debate. Like, come on. Every time there's like 10 people running for the Democrats, 10 people running for the Republicans. How many? Is there only one on each side right now? There ain't nobody else on the ballot?
No, because RFK just gave up his running and he endorsed Trump.
Yeah, he endorsed Trump.
Okay, but what about the Democrat side?
No, they didn't even have a primary, bro. They didn't even have.
That's another thing. Somebody said, like, how is it that we don't have some Democrat was saying, like, we didn't even have a primary. Like, that's crazy. Like, they chose for us who's going to run instead of like having a primary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you think about it, it is wrong.
It is wrong. It is
right
wrong.
Now, according to the 2024 polls, it says that the electoral votes, which are the ones that really count, let's be honest, Republicans have 218 and Democrats have 210. So it's very tight. Like, it's basically any man's.
Well,
at this point.
Bro, that's what they said when Trump ran against Hillary and he smoked the tar out of her, and they kept saying that she was winning by 20%. Bro, it wasn't even a close race, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. I don't care what the numbers say.
Well, I hope the Electoral College does the right thing, man. Honest to God, because good Lord.
Yeah.
If it's left up to the popular vote, we might be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, so where's Alex at? So he ain't coming or what?
I invited him up.
He's down in there. I told him to come up, but I guess he didn't see it.
Oh, he might be.
He ran.
He ran. What'd he run from?
I'm just messing with that.
He's probably tired.
Probably tired. What do you mean?
He's been on.
He's been on what?
I just got on the bottom of the screen on my cell phone. It tells me learn more about U.S. elections.
It's because he's talking about it.
Yeah, it's just.
That's that AI.
They're trying to lie for Harris.
Oh my Lord, bro! So you're telling me, so there's no primary. Hey, one day we're just gonna wake up and Harris won presidential election.
Yep, that's what's happening.
Oh,
September 10th. September 10th. September 10th.
What about it?
The debate, man.
Oh, the debate September 10th. Okay.
They gonna break the internet and the TV. Everything gonna break that day.
Both of my. I better have three.
VPs are having one too.
What do you say, Bill?
The VPs are having a debate as well.
I wish Trump would have picked a better VP though, bro. Like,
who'd he pick? Who'd he pick?
He knows how to. JD Vance. He knows how to handle himself, bro. He's been on a lot of news media, especially Democratic.
Yeah, but I think it would have been a home run
He's been
hit.
tearing them up.
Yeah, bro, but he would have had a home run hit if he would have got the guy from South Carolina, the black guy from South Carolina. I can't remember his name. I like him a lot, bro.
That's who I thought. Yeah, the South Carolina dude. That's who I thought he would have picked, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why he didn't pick that dude. That dude's all right.
Yeah, he's really good, and everybody he has a great reputation. He needs a little saint reputation next to him to kind of even out his devilish ways.
Yeah, Trump's crazy. Trump's crazy,
Can I
bro.
ask it?
What?
Yeah, who is Kamala's VP?
Some of
On the shape of the temp.
Joe Biden did. Joe Biden is. He's.
Stop it. AI is that what you're talking
AI, yeah.
some baby on the library.
Somebody
Yeah,
said H.P. Knox said Warnock.
It's Waltz, the Harris Waltz. Waltz is her running mate. Waltz. He's the one that lied about his military career, and they pointed it out, and everybody was like, "It's not really nice."
What?
Yeah, something about he retired, but he didn't retire, or some mess like that. It was some. It wasn't that big deal, but it was.
Man,
it's
you're gonna
still
make me look that up, bro. What?
Oh yeah. You want me to
6 months. When they were new in February that they were going to go to war. He put his papers in before they went.
Yeah.
Hold on. Went to war.
Like I'm gonna explain it to you, Trot. No, sweat. In November, and you say, "Man, heck with that! I'm just putting in my retirement papers right now."
Oh, wait. Hold on. He got orders to go to war, and as soon as he got his orders, he put his retirement in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the best way to put
This guy.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
This guy, bro.
They knew they were going to go invade. They knew they were going to go invade in February. They already knew that the order has came in October or November they were going to go invade. So in February they got that notice in February. So in February he put his papers in.
Wow, coward dude, bro.
I'll read it to you. So it says that Walt abandoned his National Guard unit right before he would have deployed to Iraq. He has served 24 years. So he basically was free to retire. So
hey, what was his MOS? What was his MOS?
Let me look it up. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, he was a high-ranking person at that point, so the MOS changes.
Well, I know. I'm just asking. I want to know what his rank was and what was his MOS. I just want to know.
All right, give me a second.
Just want to know. It's got to be there somewhere.
Retired. An officer served. Let's see. Teaching military service. His father is in the National Guard. He turned 17. He served in the Korean. Walt served in the National Guard for 24 years, enlisted in 1981. During his military career, he had posted heavy artillery.
Heavy artillery. Huh. I don't know why he'd be running away from that, bro. You're way back there.
Not just that, but at that age, after being 24 years in, you're not going to be in the front lines. No way. You're not going to be nowhere near there.
Yeah. What was his rank?
I'll tell you right now. Yeah, he was part of the senior enlisted soldier, 1st Battalion, 25th Field Artillery Regiment. His decorations include Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medals, National Defense Medals, Global War on Terror Service Medal, and Reserve Medal, whatever. 2004, he submitted the paperwork. Doesn't tell me his rank. I can look it up, though. I'm sure I can find it.
They got orders to go to war, and he's like, nah, I'm good. He said, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
He said, I'm taking my retirement, boy. EASing out this morning.
Yeah, he's done. Done. I think they said he submitted paperwork before war began. Well, I don't know if it was before or after. I don't know. Hopefully it was, but then again, if he put in his paperwork before the war began, I want to know what year he put it in or what month. Because, bro, we knew we were going to war when
Exactly.
so like I want to know what year and month he put it in, bro. No offense. It better have been.
It was. I think I got some of it. So it looks like he was a sergeant major. He was a sergeant major.
Okay.
So it said Vance claimed that Walsh dropped out of the National Guard when he learned his battalion was slated to deploy to Iraq. Walsh retired to focus on the run of Congress 2 months before the unit got official word. So he already knew. It says it right here.
Yeah.
So he already knew before they got official word. Like, sergeant majors already know when you're deploying.
Bro,
Like,
they know, bro. They know.
Well in
Yeah.
advance.
Bro, once you become a staff sergeant, pretty much, well, not really, but okay, at least a sergeant first class, right? You're part of Congress. Like, it takes a congressional investigation to get you fired. Like, you're not a lot of people don't know that, but you're not just getting fired from the service, bro. You're part of Congress.
7 and above, you're golden, pretty much.
Yeah. So I went to a few of those meetings. They're all right. Harris wouldn't even survive a congressional meeting, bro. The way she is, there's no way. I just, yellow school buses. What are you talking about?
Oh, look. Vance also accused Waltz of having once claimed to have served in the military combat. So I guess he made it seem like he was in combat, but he actually never did.
Oh, man, a lot of people do that. A lot of them do that, bro. A lot of them do that. They say things that make it sound like that they were in combat, but they don't actually come out and say it. But you're leading that person to believe that on the things that you're saying.
So here's the quote. This is the quote from Walt. He says, "We can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at."
That I carried in war.
Take away our assault weapons.
That I carried in war. Never been to war. Never been to war.
Harris said on August 12th, just a couple of weeks ago, that he misspoke.
They do a lot of misspeaking. But yet Donald Trump.
I call her like.
Yet Donald.
Mama, let it be known. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, you're good. No, go ahead.
No, I think he was talking to his wife or something. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, you were talking about misquoting. I was like, it's funny. Donald Trump with this crazy mouth, females by their certain area, and he's like, no, that wasn't misquoted at all. He goes, I said it just like I talk. You see how he manned up? He's like, everybody else is Democrat, they didn't misquote. It's just a misquote. It's always a misunderstanding. At least Trump's like, okay, yeah, I did say that. Like, well, that's wrong. Okay, now what? We're gonna argue about it for 10 hours?
And let's be honest, Trot. All the guys who, if you're not a descaled guy, you're not a guy who is serving God. If you were in the military, you're in a locker room, you're in a football locker room, a basketball locker room, baseball locker room, whatever locker room you want to call it. If you're hanging out with your boys in the garage, men that are not saved or transformed, that's how they talk, bro.
I don't know why people are so confused that people of the world act like the world. I don't understand. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
If they're of the world, they're going to act like the world. But I mean, but this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, though, because majority, not all, but majority, Democrats, majority, I'll say it again, they're so intellectually dishonest about everything, bro, because they know for a fact what locker room talk is, and they're trying to act dumb. And they go, oh, what does that make it okay? Bro, first of all, if someone is calling it locker room talk, that's how you know they know it's not okay. That's why they do it in the locker room, bro. It's bananas. Oh, what's locker room talk? Oh, does that make it okay? Okay, first of all, no locker room talk is okay. What are you talking about? No, but you have to be saying it's okay, and they know that that's not what you're saying. They say it anyway. It's like, bro, that's intellectually dishonest. You know, people don't agree that it's okay. You know that, but you're just trying to put it out there and make them carry that. Like if they believe it's okay, it's not okay. It's not okay. But when you say the phrase locker room talk, the person is saying the person's acting like that, being an idiot because he's in the locker room. That verbiage should tell you, why they're titling in that, but they don't understand why it has that title, or they try to act like they don't understand why it has that title. Like, bro, what do you think locker room talk means? Well, I don't understand it. Why do you think that that's worded that way? Because people act like idiots in the locker room. I mean, I don't understand this. It's so weird that they think, oh, well, in the locker room.
Sense.
Yeah, well, it should be, but
Common sense is gone.
yeah,
Gone.
oh yeah, common sense is gone in the locker room, bro. 100%. Like, then you got people that don't even know what the locker room is. I'm telling you, there are people that didn't grow up playing any sports. They have no idea what that is. They have no idea what it is. And then they learn for the first time because maybe they have kids. So their kids go into the locker room, but they weren't growing up as kids, junior high, high school, college. They weren't growing up understanding what locker room talk is. And then now they're an adult. They act like they don't know what it is. Like, bro, stop it, bro. Stop the nonsense. Like, and then they try to make you believe that a president is like running to be pope or trying to be the pastor at your church. And so they bring up the person's character and like, bro, you bring up anybody's character, you can talk bad about anybody. Some would say you see who a person really is in a locker room. No, I've been in plenty locker rooms. But he did walk back, sleep. Yeah, but he did walk back sleeping with the. I don't understand. Even if someone did do that with one of them kind of stars, I don't get your point. I don't understand. Here we go again. This guy's not running to be the pastor at your church. I don't understand. I don't understand the point. Initiate. I don't understand your point. What's your point? So you're saying that people that do that kind of stuff. So what are you saying about those kind of stars? What are you saying about those stars? Initiate. What are you saying about those stars?
That's the issue with the world today. Because even like in the military, you want your infantry guys are not going to be your typical dude that you see in the street. That's going to be, if you get a mild-mannered guy, that's not going to be a good infantry guy, bro. Like, he's not going to be able to make it, bro. You're not going to be able to do the things that are necessary to keep the freedom for the rest of the world. Somebody has to do it, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
And they make it seem like they want you to be like this, I don't know. They want you to be Justin Bieber out there. It's not going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, let me move this thing out.
When you release the Titans, you want them to be Titans.
Nah, they want him to be Jesus. That's who they want.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you, and I know well-mannered guys and they know how to keep their cool, like, in the civilian world, and, they know not to like disrupt people, right? But inside of a lot of these people who are out there, like, quote unquote, fighting for the country, right? I'm talking about Americans. There is this rebellious, like, kind of like, I can't wait to get in trouble attitude, but then again, we're not talking about, I just want to cause destruction in America. Like, I'm not talking about that kind of attitude. I'm saying that there's something, and it's like instilled in a male. I'm not saying no females have this. I'm just saying, working around a lot of these kind of guys, you'll notice that, bro, it's not your typical dude. Like, these dudes are like, the way they think. I had guys that would make me blush on some of the ways that I'm like, yeah, like, whoa. Like, I thought I was so out there. You got to be somewhat kind of like, I'll use words that people can relate to, but you got to be kind of crazy, right? To like jump out of an airplane that's perfectly fine. Like it's not going down, but I'm going to jump out of it anyway, and like, and down there, I'm going to take this boomstick and just start rack against anybody hacking against me. And, you just, you're thinking to yourself, like, did I really go through, like, did that really happen? I think back and I'm like, did all that stuff really happen? And it did. But here's where, people say, well, you feel like Superman. I didn't feel like Superman. I just felt like that I'm very well trained. And it's kind of like taking someone that knows how to ride a bike. You're not going to scare them if you put a bike in front of them. But you put a bike in front of someone that's never rode a bike, and they'll be like, I don't know. I don't know if I should get on that. And people ask, are you nervous when you went out there? I'm like, no, I'm not nervous. Like, there's a fear that, a projectile can get. Like, there's that kind of like fear, but I wasn't nervous. That kind of nervous, like had anxiety or something. I didn't have anxiety about it. It wasn't nothing like that. But the group of guys that you're with, bro, they're not normal. Like, women that are married to them guys right now, if they knew like how they were out there, half of them wouldn't even be married to them anymore. Because, you kind of have to turn on this, like, what's that movie where like at midnight, all the laws are, you can do whatever you want. There's no laws. What's that movie called?
Purge.
Purge.
Okay, yeah. So there's a movie. Yeah, so there's a movie called Purge that at midnight or something, it's like there's no more laws, and you got people trying to like break in people's houses, and they're in there trying to like protect themselves, and there's no law. Like, in a way, like you go to war, even though that there's the typical laws still exist. But then you're told to, hey, take this boomstick, go out there, and we want you to break some of these laws. I'm not laughing because it's funny, like the fact that you're breaking these laws, right? I'm laughing because there are times where certain things are okay. And it's, I mean, first of all, that's how we know that we live in a fallen world, because we know deep down none of it's okay. Like, we know. But you're given permission, like, to not do things that's okay. And then you have to ask yourself, are like the guys that are actually doing this, are y'all okay? Like, hold on a second, time out. Like Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris, time out. Hold on, guys. So if I could have timed out, bro, I would have loved to record the first couple of minutes before something happened, and then a couple of minutes after it happened. So we could hear what I would say right before the event happened and then right after it happened. And it would probably be like, okay, so we're about to do this. And then within seconds later, all right, that didn't go so well. One of my buddies just got unalive right in front of me. Part of his inside of his skull is hanging here off the side of my head. And I'm not really sure if any of us are doing okay right now. But we're about to go do it again in 2 hours, And then before you know it, several months go by and you're like, this is my life. Like, you start believing that this is your life. Like, this is life now, and then you come back to the civilian world and everything's slowed down. And, you're just kind of like, you kind of feel like you might be am I on edge? You're like, I don't know. Am I on edge? Then you go over there again. And I'm telling you, you're around the same kind of guys. And it's just, it's not, just like Dre was saying, like, it's not normal. These people are not normal, so someone would say, well, so you're saying you're not normal? Well, I don't know about those years, because you don't just go out there with no training. You have to train to do this for a long time. Then you go out there and you come back, and now you got 17-year-olds. So I don't know who here has got 17 or 18-year-old children. But I take them and I show them how to do what they need to do. And we go out there, we do it, we come back again. And so there is no like civilian world. Like, it's kind of like, you ever been outside and it's real hot and you would rather go under a tree to like, you'd rather be under a tree than go into air conditioning. Because if you go into air conditioning, how much hotter it's going to be when you go back outside. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Does anybody understand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. It's like the hot heat is war and the mindset of war. And then if you go back into the air condition, that'd be like going back into the civilian world, tempting you that, it's no longer hot. And so it's kind of like that. Like, so you don't really go back into the civilian world. You stay in this mindset of war, training to go to war, training to go to war. And so, but I know people that try to hop back in that civilian world, and they're just not as productive. They're just not as productive. But, it's just, so you stay in that, what I call, I hate to put it this way, you just stay in that, crazy mindset. And then when you're out, now you have to start like kind of coming back down and, but we all this come up because we're talking about this dude. What's the dude's name, Dre, that we're talking about?
Waltz, the vice president, Waltz.
Yeah, apparently he said something about taking away weapons that he used at war, and apparently he never went to war. I don't know if the guy went to war or not, but
hey, let me tell you something funny, Trot.
Yeah.
The other day I was going through some of my old like military papers, like my orders and stuff like that. Bro, they put everybody's social security number on there, like the whole unit. It's like if somebody wanted to do some dirt and scam, bro, it's like, yo, I can't believe back in the day they just put all our full social out there, like the whole thing. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, that is.
Nowadays you don't see none of that.
Let me see what initiate skills don't transfer well. Well, that would be based on opinion, really, because I took my skill, came back to America and did the exact same thing in America. So my skills transferred over perfectly. So initiate, you're 100% wrong about that. What, CJ?
Yeah, I was going to say there's studies that people have done that prove the opposite.
Yeah, no, there's
skills do transfer.
Yeah, skills transfer. Now,
probably.
Yeah, well, there's people that's not going to do well, but that's in anything. That anything. You can have someone that was a manager for 10 years at a restaurant, and then you tell him, well, no restaurant wants to hire you no more. You need to get into carpentry. What skill in the restaurant business did this person learn any carpentry? So skills not transferring over well is that's in anything, man. You got someone that's a school teacher for 15 years, and then you tell them to start. The only thing you could take is hopefully you got a bunch of young people working for you because you know how to get on to young people. Maybe that's a skill you got for being a school teacher. I don't know, but okay. So I guess Alex ain't gonna show up today. I can't remember what. What question? He wasn't. Well, I don't know what question I remember him. Dre's right. He had a question. Something.
It was about I think he said there was 3 floods he wanted to talk about.
We talked about those floods. There was something deeper, I think.
Yeah, no, it was something else. That. Yeah, it was something. Alex, you in here, bro? Or you're not good to talk today, or what?
I think he'll be on soon.
Hey, Trot.
Yeah.
Trot, he was asking about the days of creation.
That's what it was.
The days of creation?
Yeah. And he was like, you were like, you want to go through that right now?
Yeah, but
he was like, no.
Yeah, okay. What verse did he bring up? That's what I need to know. I don't remember anything else.
He brought Genesis 1, the whole chapter.
Genesis 1?
Yeah, he was talking about the days and how they correlate.
Oh, the days, day 1, day 2, day 3, those days like that. Yeah. I can't remember.
Because he asked if day he asked, I think it was day 4. He was wondering if that was the Jesus resurrection. I think is what he was talking. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, if he's here, he tell him to put it in the chat. Somebody said he was here. I'd rather him
he
be
was here. Invited up and everything, and he was like, "Nah." No, not today.
Yeah, I think he said he
He
was
was
almost
driving
home.
home and would be home soon.
All right. Yeah, no, I remember now that he did. It was regarding days.
Hey, Trot.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something off subject real quick.
Yeah.
Before we get to that,
Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. Yes.
That,
yes. Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. Yes. Go ahead.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
that was off subject. Go ahead.
On that, by the way.
That's completely off subject. I didn't
over my head.
I didn't listen. I would never tempt my brother to lie, but you did it on your own. So
no, you hate the truth. You hate the truth. So your father is Satan. You hate the truth.
I think you hate the truth.
If your father was my father, then you would understand what I'm saying.
I'm gonna start calling you the Cowboy Pharisee from now on. You're the Cowboy Pharisee.
No, you're the cowboy. You're the Cowboy Pharisee. You're the Cowboy Pharisee.
No, you're the Cowboy.
No, we're all
Pharisee,
cowboys.
100%.
We're all cowboys. You're a Pharisee, and I'm of grace. It's just difference. That's the only issue. We're all cowboys. We're all.
Let me ask you this: would you say that men, like, how can I put it? So people are not trained to actually use a weapon or like train in amphibious landings, all that stuff, like all the infantry stuff, and then you grab like this motor T guy, especially like the army, like some of the guys that I know that are not infantry. They don't do no kind of infantry work whatsoever. Like they go to boot camp for 8 weeks or whatever it is, 10 weeks, and then they go from there and they go just learn how to drive trucks. Then all of a sudden you grab this guy and you stick him in Iraq, and he has no idea how to really work or understand the weapon, doesn't know how to break it down. Like he's not really good at it. And then you send this guy to war, right? And when he comes back, he's more messed up than ever because he wasn't prepared or even trained to even have that kind of mentality. You understand? Like he never even did a simulation war. He never even did like mount training or anything with paintballs or nothing. Like he has zero training. All he did was go to boot camp, wear a uniform, sing jodies and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden he learns how to drive a truck. And they're like, hey man, you're going to Iraq. Now he's like pooping his pants because he has zero clue how to even manage himself. Would you say that those are the types of people that really come back more messed up than even than the typical infantry guy who's actually been trained?
You would think that. Nah, you would think that, but no, not really. You would think that though. I will say that the more training you have, the better you're going to do in a situation. But I've seen cooks like a bomb go off like beside them or whatever, and they get hit, and then there's a hole in the wall, and they had to take up their rifle and fire through that hole for a little bit before the QRF got there. And again, it's one firefight. It might have lasted maybe a minute, maybe 30 seconds, even one of the dudes, on accident, because there's smoke in this building, they can't really see very clearly. And, they end up shooting their own guy in the back of the arm, because he was kind of standing right there. And so now he's messed up that he shot his own dude in the back of the arm. Thankful he didn't unalive him, and then the QRF shows up, and then, before you know it, it was really just 8 guys that's just trying to unalive as many Americans as they can. And, when it's all said and done, those people got to go back to work, just like anybody else. And sometimes the chaplain will come and, does anybody need to talk? And there might be 1 or 2 guys, females, whatever, that are like, yeah, I need to see the chaplain every other day. And, and I mean, but I don't know. I've seen the truck drivers, they started giving them like super up armored, man. These things are like tanks, bro, these trucks. And they get hit, boom, and the capsule, like the cab that they're sitting in, like just breaks off. I think it's made to do that, but it like breaks off, dude, and it's just over there they're in this cab, bro, just, and bulletproof glass everywhere, and they're getting shot at, and the enemy's trying to get in there to unalive them, and they can't, because like this thing is like this.
How you doing, man? Good, how are you? I'm doing all right. This be all for you?
Hold on a second.
Appreciate you, CJ.
Yeah. Anyway, make sure that guy tell that guy we all said hi. Well, anyway, and so, but no, I don't know, man. I don't, because I've seen people who were very well trained act like a complete coward, you know, like run away from a situation, you know, got shot at one time, you know, firefight lasted 30 seconds, have PTSD for the rest of their life, can't even work right. Had a whole bunch of training. So I've seen it all. I've seen, because it's not based on how much training you have. It's based on the kind of mindset that you have. Do you freak out during certain things? Because there are people that are actually geared, but they just don't want to, and they just choose a different kind of job. And then you throw a hard time at them and they don't freak out. They're very calm, cool, and collected. And that's kind of what you're looking for. Someone that can take anxiety well, someone who could take a hard time well. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only reason I was asking is one of my cousins, he went into the army and he was a cook. And when he got orders to go to Iraq to go cook for the grunts, oh man, you would have thought he got a death sentence, bro. And this man was sending text messages, die over in Iraq, you know.
Go.
I was like, yo, what the hell's wrong with you, man? I said, are you okay?
You're watching too many movies, boy.
But you know what? That's his personality, though, because now that I think about it, like he just went on a missions trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
And he came back and I was like, go, bro. Because he was like, I need you to pray for me. And da-da-da. I was like, yeah, I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
And that was like my prayer, right? I'm like, bro, I've been all around the world. I've preached in Pakistan. I've preached in places where they're looking to actually take you out when you go bring the Bible. Like you got to hide your Bible in your drawers type places.
Yeah.
So, but I was just telling him, and I was like, how did it go? And he was like, oh, it went well. He's like, I got sick though. I got like a stomach virus. But I think it was a spiritual attack because they were in that area we were in. They talk about La Santa Muerte, and I was like, I was like, what, bro? You ate a bad taco. I told him, like, bro, you ate a bad taco, bro.
Yeah,
there was no spiritual attack that messed your stomach up, bro.
Yeah, no spiritual.
Like, no, you don't understand. It was scary at nighttime. I was like, man, shut up, bro.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry. I don't got no patience for that kind of stuff.
But it just sounds like he is a worry mongerer. He just worries a lot. That's what it sounds like to me.
100%.
Yeah, so you send a guy like that to war. I don't want that guy next to me. I don't want to.
Hey, try. And Dre. If they were a believer, you believe is that an oppression on them?
What do you mean?
That fear, that unbelief, that worrisome. Is that a oppression?
Oppression.
He's trying to make it seem like
no. Hold on. Let Bill say it. Let Bill say it. Bill, what do you mean by oppression?
Down, okay.
What do you mean by oppression?
Oppression. Sense that those fiery dots or those thoughts come in of doubt, of uncertainty, of worry and fear.
Yeah. So in the New Testament,
all believer.
Yeah. So in the New Testament, it talks about being demon oppressed and demon possessed, and it's the word demonized. And I know people don't like this, but your flesh is the thing that demonizes you, man. It's your flesh, bro. Okay. It's the thing that's enmity to God. It's used to being in fear, being in its emotions. That's what the flesh is used to doing. And so when you start having negative self-talk, like, oh man, you can talk yourself into anxiety, bro. And that is the seed of Satan. That is a demonic oppression. That's what it is. But you're doing it to yourself. Satan, no demon or Satan has the power to come up to you and just put you in fear, bro. It starts with you talking yourself into it. One dumb lie at a time that you eat. One bite of that lie, one at a time. Before you know it, you're in fear and you're like, oh, well, but you did it to yourself because from the very beginning, like the Bible tells us, you could have cast down that imagination, right? And you could have put those thoughts under the foot of Christ and started talking to yourself with the truth that no, God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So I'm not in that kind of fear. There's nothing wrong with being cautious, but yeah, you can put yourself in a moment of like anxiety or oppression, but it's because the flesh that person has still have not learned how to tell the flesh to be quiet. So that person needs to fast. The person needs to fast, bro.
I agree with you, because tomorrow I'm bringing a study, and I just wanted to verify a few things, because you're on the money with that, because that's exactly what I got here, and I'm putting some notes together and some scriptures to bring that, because it is the attack of the mind and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. And people like to.
I agree.
People give Satan too much credit. You know, hold on.
Because it's the thought, and then if we allow it to take, because in Luke 10:19 he says he has given us the power, like you said, to tread serpents and scorpions, right?
Yeah.
But we know believers get demonic possession, because in the New Testament, that's all we see is the demonic possession, the ones that Jesus is liberating.
Yeah. So believers get possessed by Satan? Is that what you're saying?
No. Non-believers.
Oh yeah, because non-believers are the dry ground, the dry places, right? Which is the opposite of Eden.
Correct.
Eden is the good ground with living water, which is the east, and the west is the dry places, the dry ground. And the Bible tells us that demons seek dry places. It's talking about unbelievers. They don't seek Eden, bro. That's not what they're seeking. Eden is not pleasant to a demon.
Absolutely not.
That they were already they were already there, and they didn't like it. They're not trying to go back.
Demons don't know how to swim, guys. Demons don't know how to swim.
No,
they don't.
They just know how to sunbathe. They know how to sunbathe. That's what they know how to do. Yeah.
But do we see that in the beginning with Adam and Eve, with the oppression? Because the minute they believed and they thought it and they believed it, they bought it. It was their own mind. They accepted it, the lie. And then we see the shame that comes after that, the condemnation of them.
Yeah, to be honest, no, it wouldn't be wrong to say that. And let me tell you why. Because people literally, man, you start talking about Eden, people got some very weird things about Eden, bro. And what I mean by that is the stuff we were taught when we were kids, right? Adam and Eve naked, right? Covering their Gentiles, right? They're naked and they're like, I'm naked, right? You got this physical naked people. And then you got trees, physical trees, apple trees, right? Orange, like just trees, real trees, like these kind of trees out here. So you got to get the kid to picture something. The kid has to picture something. You got to start somewhere. So these depictions, this imagery that the Bible uses to tell us that's how you start telling a kid. And then this kid grows up to be an adult and they never grew any further than that. And it's like, bro, like, no offense, okay? But why haven't you grown from that understanding? So you've taken that understanding. So I'm saying all that to say, because your question is that a type of oppression? It's like, okay, Adam and Eve, we have to be honest about something. Adam and Eve were mankind. Adam and Eve were not gods, right? They were mankind. And it's funny how people treat Adam and Eve different than they treat us. They treat them different. And they're like, well, yeah, but they were perfect. God made them. Okay, yeah, I'm 100% in agreement that that's how they were different. But what I'm saying is, they were not different as far as they didn't have a choice. They had choice, man. Adam and Eve had choice. Jesus said, if you do not eat of me, of my flesh, you will never have everlasting life. Let me say this. Is that true for Adam and Eve? What Jesus said to us? Is that true for them? Mm-hmm. People don't want to believe that because they're like, oh, well, they're already perfect because God made them perfect. Yeah, but okay, did God make them with the choice? All right, then. So that means they had a glorified body, but they didn't choose the glorified body. God made them perfect, okay? But they didn't choose that. So they had a choice. I don't think people understand that. They see that we didn't have a choice, right? As far as having a glorified body, we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a corruptible body and an incorruptible as the soul. And we're like, which one of these bodies shall I enter? Adam didn't have that choice either. God made him perfect because that's what God makes, perfection. But he made them with the choice. Adam and Eve had to eat of the tree of life, bro. I don't understand what's so hard about this. It's no different. But they didn't choose to do that. And it's funny how people they cannot understand that the rules that's for us in order in life was the same rules for Adam and Eve. It was the same. They had to eat from the tree of life. I don't understand this. They're really picturing Adam and Eve just running around butt naked, eating stuff, and God gave them a commandment and a law. And as long as they didn't eat from this tree that God put there to tempt them, the Bible says God doesn't tempt. The Bible says that God doesn't lead us to temptation, but yet we're supposed to believe that God put that tree there, purposely tempting Adam for the rest of his life. So God put Adam in hell for the rest of his life to be in temptation. So it's huge. It's so big to not understand this part right here, but it's because they compartmentalize the Garden of Eden away from us. Bro, Adam and Eve were mankind. Mankind cannot and will not have everlasting life unless that mankind eats from Jesus. Period. There's no way around that. So, if God, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. I was just saying, like to get to the point about, them being oppressed or whatever. I don't believe it was. I don't believe it was the oppressed way that we have here. I don't believe in the garden it was the same. I don't believe there was a heaviness and they were oppressed for weeks and months. I don't believe it was like that. It's possible that Eve could have had a conversation with the tree once before. I've heard people say, well, it's possible. And she did it again. And maybe she did it. Okay. Yeah. I get that. I think the point that the Bible is showing us, the whole point is she did eat. That's the point. So, and she ate after much convincing, not before. She was convinced with a lie and she believed it and she shared that lie with her husband and they both died. And so now to say that God put that tree there, that means that God tempted Adam, God unalived Adam. Bro, from the beginning, the fault was put on the serpent. Because you have done this. The fault was put on God. If God was so perfect, he would have blamed himself, according to what people are saying. Why didn't God blame? So now God's another one. So now God's a liar. So God's a liar now. So he put the tree there. He tempted Adam. He killed Adam, but he's just putting the blame on the serpent. No, bro, absolutely not.
And here's another point that I was touching was also with Saul. Go ahead, Dre. I'll say it afterwards. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like the imagery, like what Trot said a second ago is so important. People, I don't know how people really don't see it. For example, if you're a little kid, or you're a child, or a young person, or even adults, you'll watch a scary movie, and then all of a sudden that night you don't have all these images and these things that you've been meditating on because you've been watching it, you've been looking at it, you place yourself in that movie. And then later on that night, when you go to bed, if you leave your closet door open, all of a sudden, somehow, some way, you see a monster in your closet of a shadow of something. Where did that come from? It wasn't your spirit. It wasn't like you naturally didn't think of that. It's because of the things that you meditated on for that moment that created that scariness. So even when you go to like Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good report, if there be any virtue and there be any praise, think on these things. So what is he saying? Meditate on these things. Imagine these things. Use your imagination for these things. And if you're walking in your imagination in these things, then that's what you're going to perceive in life. That's going to be your mindset in life. But if your mindset, if you're watching a 1,000 Ways to Die, now everything that you see, you're going to say, oh, you could die if you do that. You could die if you do that. You could die if you do that. So then you're walking in fear because your imagination and your flesh has been worked up to believe in these lies and not the things that are whatsoever things are true. And that's a fact. So that's why me personally, I don't watch scary movies. Not that I'm like petrified or anything like that. I just don't want to have that imagery in my head, bro.
Yeah,
I have that in my head.
No,
bro.
it's not. It's
I'm
not
very
good.
Particular about that.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And trust me, I've seen plenty scary movies.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, man. Like when I got in my mid-20s, I had friends, that I went to high school with. I already had been to war or whatever. We come back and they're like, bro, let's go to this, haunted house. And I'm thinking, I'll show you a real haunted house, bro. Like, you want to go to a like, it's like, I need this adrenaline rush. I'm like, I'll take you somewhere to get an adrenaline rush, bro. What are you talking about? Like, so I go, I played football with these dudes. I go, and that right there showed me, like, I can't hang out with them no more. Like, I've already leveled up in life. Like this, this is a thrill for you. Like, man, like, and I get it. Like, yeah.
Let me ask you, Truck.
Hey, Jesus. Hey, love, what's going on, man? I didn't even know you're on the panel. What's up, dude?
Yeah. You mentioned something there, but on the garden, though. But when it comes to the garden, I say God created the garden perfect. Everything was perfect. But there is an imperfection. So I go as far as to say 99% is 99% perfect, but there's 1% that is imperfect in that garden that God created. Do you agree with that? Because that's the way I see it.
Okay, yeah, but okay, so are you saying that as soon as God created it, it was only 99% perfect as soon as he created it?
There's got to be. There is already an imperfection in the garden.
Well, that's what it seems like, right? So I'm with you.
Right.
But we know that can't be true because God didn't just say it was good. He said it was very good. So either God's lying or we're misunderstanding something.
Well, so there's something in there that is made it something. There's a hitch in there.
Well, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. But what you're saying is God created it there, is what you're saying. You're saying that
it there. Did he?
Okay, well, watch this. So Lucifer is the one that is now we call Satan, right?
Right. Okay,
so Lucifer's name, right? And we call him that because of the name Lucifer, light bearer, light bringer, whatever people want to. It's funny when people want to argue the Greek and the Hebrew. It's like, bro, you don't have to be a genius to figure out Hebrew and Greek. I don't understand this. If you just do a little, and I don't mean you, love, I'm saying figuratively, a person, you just take a few minutes out of your day over the verses you're looking at, you will have a decent idea of what it's saying. So sure, someone can come help you understand all the derivatives and whether it's a prefix or a suffix in the Greek, bro. Listen, you do not have to learn the language and go to a nation and have conversation in order to understand the Bible. It's such a lie. So I'm just saying this for people. Listen, stop letting people make you believe that they're learning something that is just like there's only one teacher in the world. And I'm not talking about spiritual. I'm saying there's only one physical human, and you're lucky if you get in the one class that year, bro. It's a lie. It is a lie. It is so easy. It's not hard. It can be difficult when you start, but that's just like an instrument. If you've never picked up an instrument, you're not going to get it right away. And it's no different with the Hebrew and the Greek. But once you start playing around with it, bro, trust me, you get comfortable. And it's crazy. But okay, so when Lucifer, I'm saying that because of his name, because people go, oh, his name's not Lucifer. I know, but for the sake of argument, okay. But when God made, okay, his name means light bringer or light bearer. His name means light. His name is light because God made him. So the question would be this. The question is this.
Yeah.
When Lucifer was, we'll have to ask themselves.
He was perfect.
All right.
He was perfect.
Okay. Okay. So if he was perfect, then that means Eden was perfect, my friend. If he was perfect, that means Eden was perfect. Unless you're separating the two. Is that what you're doing? Are you separating the two? Are you saying that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the serpent, are you saying it was Lucifer?
Problem being is that if you're really looking at it in a natural perspective, like the Trinitarians atheists would say, okay, God's so great, there is something imperfect that he created, so God is not perfect.
Well,
so we know that's not true.
Okay, yeah,
because
right.
Because from a Christian perspective,
yeah, right. But again, that's a man of it's a foolish man from the West of this world who clearly doesn't understand what he's reading, right? But my question again is this: I understand what you're saying, but the only way that would be true is if you are separating Lucifer from the tree and the serpent. Are you saying that those three things are separate and not the same? That's the question, because you would have to say that Lucifer has nothing to do with the tree and the serpent. Now, if that was true, then okay, then this thing is something else. So where do you?
So who created that tree?
Well, again, but my question stands. Listen to my question to you.
Yeah.
Is Lucifer and the tree and the serpent separate, or are they the same? That's what I'm asking you.
To me, I believe they're the same.
Okay.
I'm not separating.
All right. So watch this. So if they're the same when it comes to the tree and the serpent, which one is Lucifer?
Well, that tree is a corrupt tree. Corruption comes from Satan because he's the liar from the beginning. Jesus told us that.
Okay. So the tree is Lucifer?
The tree is not necessarily Lucifer, but Lucifer is playing a role into that tree.
Okay.
Correct?
So all right. So I'm not trying to make you believe something, but you that Lucifer is not by himself now. He has something to do with this tree. So is he standing next to the tree? Right. How does Lucifer play a part in this tree?
He might be very well in that tree. That's where.
All right.
Roaming.
So I could tell you're being 100% honest, and that's all you need to see this. So the tree of life, is that Jesus, or is Jesus standing next to tree of life?
That is Jesus, but I don't think Jesus is standing at the tree of life, is he?
Well, no. My question is just: is the tree of life Jesus, or is Jesus sitting in the tree talking to people? Or is
Jesus not sitting on the tree?
So he is.
He's not sitting.
So he is the tree.
He is the tree.
All right. So the tree.
He's the essence of the tree.
So the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, is the serpent just hanging out on a branch, or is the serpent in the tree?
That's a good question. Never thought that's a provoking question. So I never really.
Yeah. So
never triggered those thoughts.
So watch this. Right. Jesus is always in the midst throughout the Bible. Always. He's in the midst all the time. So when Moses, remember, Moses is the author of the first 5 books. So he's the one that wrote the tree of life. But before he wrote this story, give me the first time that God showed Moses a tree.
Oh, that's way back in Exodus.
Okay. Yeah, right. But according to us who follow Moses, this happened first in the story of Moses, not the Garden of Eden. Correct?
Right.
So obviously, but what I'm saying is Moses is minding his own business.
Oh, I see you're trying to make the parallel with the tree.
So my question is this. So my question is this. What happened in Moses' life that would cause him to write a tree of life? Did anything happen that would lead him to write this way?
Well, are you trying to bring into the understanding that?
Well,
he
no,
saw the
I'm not.
light
I'm not
and
trying. No, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm being honest in Scripture that Moses wrote about the Garden of Eden. But let's be honest. Something happened in his life that started showing him things about trees. We have to be honest. So Moses sees a bush that's on fire. It didn't burn, and it said, from the midst of the tree,
I see where you're going.
A voice spoke.
God, it was in the tree of life. That's what you're saying?
It was the tree of life. That's what he's talking. That's what he was talking to. You need to see another one?
I never.
You want to see another one?
Okay.
Okay. So in Exodus, Moses, they're in the wilderness, they're in the desert, and he's telling God, you brought us all the way out here to die? This water is bitter. It's no good. And it says, and God showed him a tree. God did not tell Moses what to do with the tree. It just said he showed it to him. And Moses took the tree, he cast the tree in the water, and it made the water sweet. So Moses knew that there is a tree that brings things to life. He knew. God showed him. True or not?
Wow. True.
Okay, true. All right. So now let's look at the words that's used. He called the first water bitter. Mara. He said the water. Do you know that's what Mary's name is? The mother of Jesus. Do you know her name is Mara in Hebrew?
Mara, Miriam.
Yeah,
Miriam,
Mary. That is Mara. Okay, yeah. So that's not a coincidence, by the way. But I'm showing you something. So, but it says that when he cast a tree into the bitter water, the water became sweet. That's what it became. Mm-hmm. All right. So a tree made something that was bitter sweet. A tree did. And in the Bible, we notice that sweetness is spoken about in a very weird way, right? Calls it honey. Honey's here, honey's over there. But the bitter water became sweet. The bitter water did. John was told by an angel in the book of Revelation, John was told to eat the scroll, which is the word of God. John said, give it to me to eat. So the angel put it in his mouth, and it was sweet as honey. It was sweet as honey, and it was bitter in his stomach, but it was sweet as honey. Mm-hmm. Samson unalived a lion, and it said he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. Inside of it was honeybees, and he ate it. And he took it to his parents and gave it, but he didn't tell them where he got it. So you see honey throughout the Bible in a lot of places. I mean, we could do this all day. Jonathan stuck
You're
his...
not supposed to eat the honey from a carcass, right?
Do what? No, you can eat...
You're not supposed to eat honey from a carcass.
No, you can eat honey from a death of a lion. You can. That's how we eat honey, from the defeating of Satan. That's how we eat. Oh, okay. So when Jesus told when the disciples came to Jesus, because he just got through talking to the lady at the well, they tried to give him meat. And he said, I have meat that you know not of. What meat is Jesus referring to?
Is he talking about his spiritual, his body, his life?
He's talking about spiritual meat. What he just did, he just ministered to this woman, and that is what feeds Jesus. That's what feeds him, ministering to people. So the land flowing of milk and honey, the promised land, Israel, the land flowing of milk and honey. So is God trying to tell us that Israel had the best milk cows and the best honeybees?
You asking me?
Yeah. Because it's called the land flowing of milk and honey. So they got the best cows and the best bees. Is that what God's trying to teach us?
No. And I don't think that's he's trying to say. He's that honey. I think he's the honey, right?
Of course, he is the honey. That's why Samson put out the riddle and said, who is stronger than a lion, or what is stronger than a lion, and what is sweeter than honey? What's the answer? What is stronger than a lion and what is sweeter than honey?
I can't remember what he. I can't remember that the saying.
Yeah, but if I was to ask you today, and I said, "Hey, regarding the Bible, what is stronger than a lion and what is sweeter than honey?" Regarding the Bible, how would you answer that?
That would be Jesus.
Of course, because Jesus is the promised land, the land flowing of milk and honey. He's the promised land. He's the promise. Spiritual revelation.
He's the promise of the promise of the promise that was to come. Correct.
He is the promise. The promise. He's the promise.
Okay.
Right? So when the Bible says past, present, future, is that what you're referring to? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
But it's the answer is the same, right? So the one that was here, the one that came, the one that's going to come, he's it. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He is the promised land, him. So with all that being said, we're talking about Lucifer. We're talking about trees in the garden. We're already in agreement that Jesus is the tree of life. We're in agreement. You know, it's funny.
Tree brings gives you oxygen. So without trees, you have no life. Without trees, there is no life in this world. Correct?
In this world?
Well, our world. There is no. Well, even there is a tree of life in the next world because there is a tree. A tree. It talks about the tree of life in Revelation, right?
Yeah. Well, Jesus is the tree of life, though. It's not a different tree. Same tree. Okay. Right. So, but again, in the garden, in the west, this world, I'm talking about in the east, right? Mm-hmm. In the east, in Eden, Moses wrote about trees. Moses did. So if a person cannot see where Moses would even get an idea that there's a tree of life, they're either elementary and they're studying or they're being intellectual, because it should be very clear where he got the idea that there is a tree. There is a special tree. Like, there's no denying that, or shouldn't be. And most people will agree and say, okay, yeah, that's... Do what?
A tree has to be there because we eat from the tree, correct? We gotta eat.
Yeah, but what is eating? What is eating? What is that in the Bible? Does that mean physical mouth? So when
eating, I thought eating was obeying.
Well, it's believing. It's believing is what it is. It's believing.
No, I always say that. What is it? Eating and drinking. Drinking is believing, and eating is obeying.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, because if I believe something, I'm going to obey it. It's drinking.
Well, you gotta drink first.
Well, drinking and eating are both the same. So, we can sit here and split hairs, but the point is, you have to believe it for it to become part of you. You have to believe it. So, if you want to say, well, yeah, but then believing, obeying, and listen, the point is, if you don't believe what someone is saying, you're not going to obey them. You don't believe what they're saying. So they go hand in hand is what I'm saying. But
because in Mark 16:16, it says, he that believeth is baptized, believe as first, it shall be saved. So that's plainly correct. I agree with that.
Yeah. So the tree, Jesus said, unless you eat of my flesh, you'll never have everlasting life. So he is telling us to eat him. Correct?
Yes. You got to eat.
Okay. So now is he saying to take my arm and barbecue it and have a banquet?
Well, you got to, because he said, men shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceed out of the mouth of God.
There you go. So every word that proceed, every word. So we're eating by listening and believing what Jesus said. You're eating of him, the tree of life.
That's right. So what are we eating? What are we eating?
You're eating his words. You're believing. You're believing what he is saying. That's what you're eating. Eating is believing.
So if you were talking earlier about, so if you're eating oppression, that's what you're eating. You can eat oppression. You could eat of the tree of knowledge of evil. You can eat anything you want to eat.
Believe.
But the only thing that's going to give you life is eating Jesus.
Right, believing. So you can believe Satan's lies, or you can believe Jesus is truth. Jesus said, my words are spirit and truth. So it would behoove you to believe what he is saying because he's telling you the truth. That is eating of the tree. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Satan came, he gave them a different perspective so they can eat.
Satan knew that if he could get them to believe what he was saying, that he would become their father. That's what he was doing. He was trying to become their father. But he knew all I got to do is get them to believe me. That's why Jesus told the scribes and the Pharisee, your father is Satan. Jesus wasn't lying. When Jesus told the scribes and the Pharisee, your father is Satan, he was telling the truth.
Wow, so true.
So when Adam and Eve believed what Satan said, Satan became their father. Period. Happened. People don't like it, but that is what happened. People really don't pay attention to how nasty of a thing happened in the garden. It's very nasty of a thing. It wasn't just simple as they broke a commandment. Bro, no. They made Satan their father. And because he became in covenant with them, he was able to take their dominion.
And now the tree of life had to come and take that dominion back.
Right. So now,
bring it back.
Right. So now the tree of life had to present itself in this world. And now that it was here, you see him being the tree of life. Look at the Beatitudes. He's standing on the hill. Everyone's listening. And he says, blessed are the meek. Blessed are the poor. Bro, he was feeding. People were believing what he was saying. The tree of life does what it does, and it speaks life, spirit, truth. That's all it does. And we are all trees. The Bible makes it so clear we're all trees. Jesus said, I'm the vine and you're the branches. I've never seen a man walking around with a branch hanging off the side of his head.
But not everybody's eating because he says many are called and few are chosen.
Well,
so people come and eat. They come and eat, and it's like you were saying earlier, they go back.
Yeah, well, again,
they go try something else.
Yeah, but
try another dish.
Yeah, okay, but that's a swine. The Bible tells us not to eat of a swine. A swine today is a person that eats everything.
Let's do it. Don't push Lauren over, though. Remember? You don't push Lauren over.
Yeah, CJ.
So it goes back to what you always say, that if you pay attention, God is a giver, Satan is a taker. So when Adam made Satan or Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, when they believed him and they made him their father, he took something from them.
Yeah.
Whereas when you believe God, he gives something to you. And that's why he says, man, he says, I eat of bread that you know not of, which is giving. When he gives, it feeds him, it regenerates him. You know, it's what pleases God is to give. Whereas Satan, what pleases him is to take. From the very beginning, he was taking glory from God. And that's what, his whole mindset was to take. And the carnal mind is that way. The carnal mind is, how can I take? How can I get more? How can I receive more? How can I scan? Whatever. Like, how can I get more from me? Whereas the Bible says, if you give, it shall be given unto you, because that's how it works. The more you give, the more you fulfilled from the Spirit. Says, if you give, it shall be given unto you, because that's how it works.
Hey,
the more you give.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. But yeah, so it's not, from the that God, talking about how perfect Lucifer was, that's who he's talking to. But he says that you were perfect when I made you. And he's talking about Lucifer, and he says, until iniquity was found in you. So he wasn't made with iniquity, but the angels were made with choice. They had a choice. And I really don't think people believe that, or maybe they don't understand that, or they don't want to believe. Maybe they want to believe that that God put something evil inside of something that he made. And for anyone to say that, there's no way that a person really believes that God put something evil in someone. I mean, for anyone to think that that's true, that is so totally against Scripture. The Bible says that God's not a man that he's not a liar. So if it was him that put the tree there to tempt Adam to kill him, bro, any person would have blamed God, bro, if that was true. So then why is God blaming Satan? So God's lying then. He literally tells the serpent, because you have done this. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, yeah, it was Satan's fault. And then in the same breath say, yeah, but God made all that happen. What, bro? Well, for some reason, we're pointing the finger at the wrong place. We just need to point the finger where God's pointing the finger. He blames Satan. That means Satan had a choice, period. So what people do is they go, well, God knew it was going to happen. That doesn't matter. I don't know why people don't get this part. It don't matter if God knew that was going to happen or not. The person still has a choice to choose, and it has to go through the process of the choice being made. So it sounds good. It sounds good to use atheist arguments against this and say, well, it was God that did it. No, it wasn't. Yeah, God knew it was going to happen. Bro, that's an atheist trying to disprove Christianity. All of us should be ashamed of ourselves. We're using an atheist argument against your brother. You're supposed to use the Bible and tell the person, well, biblically, then we can do it that way. But trying to use an atheist argument to try to show wrong or could be wrong, that's not, because what you're doing is you're taking a carnal minded view and arguing against what someone is saying that spiritually this is true over here. And so to call Jesus the tree of life and then literally try to act like, oh, well, the other tree is really just a tree with apples. Okay, then the tree of life is too then. It had bananas. You can't act like you see part of it and not the other side. So it is hard to say that God did not plant or put that tree of the knowledge of good and evil there. He told Adam not to eat of it, not to do it. So now we're saying God's tempting Adam. So, but the thing is, if you can understand how people are trees in the Bible, if you can understand that, then you can start seeing more clearly that the tree of life is Jesus, because if we don't eat of him, we won't have everlasting life. We should see that. And right now, the Bible is constantly telling us not to listen to Satan, even in the New Testament. The same thing is being told, do not eat of that tree. Don't believe Satan. The same thing is being told to us today, but we compartmentalize the Garden of Eden because when you were 10 years old, you were told such a lovely fairy tale, part of the story, very superficial. And now that you're an adult and you have an adult understanding of the New Testament, you just can't let go of freaking Little Mermaid story you got going on over here in the Garden of Eden. And that was given to you because you were a child and there was no other way to express it. But now that we should be understanding and using spiritual common sense. Spiritual common sense is Christ is the tree of life. And if he is a tree of life, is Satan a tree? Oh, no, he's not a tree. Oh, my God. Bro, they're either both trees or neither one of them are trees, man. And the Bible makes it very clear that we are trees, period. So now we're all trees. Jesus is a tree. We're all trees, but not Satan. Nope. There was a snake chilling inside the branches of a tree. No. Moses spoke to a bush, and out of the midst of the bush, right, the tree, a voice came to him, because the serpent is in the midst of the tree. Just like you have a soul and a spirit, Lucifer had obviously a soul and a spirit. Now, people will say not a soul, but I'm saying had a spirit. God spoke him into existence. So obviously he had a spirit, but he chose wrongfully. So how is it you're not understanding that inside of him iniquity was found by his own choice? Why? Because his own will. This goes all the way back to God has a will and your flesh has a will. Now, let me ask you this. If you came into this world with Satan as your father, because you're talking about the physical you. Now, how in the world is that possible? How could your flesh automatically that was born in here, why do you have to get born again if you didn't already contain something from another birth, from the first Adam? So the first Adam, Lucifer became his father. And so when you were born into this world, That's what had dominion over us, was that. So we had to be born again. We had to be born again.
The teacher, there's a question down there from Indio Speramus. And so he says, before the fall, could God punish Satan without punishing us?
Hold on. Hold on. I need to find the comment.
Okay.
What is the name of the person?
Indio Speramus.
Man, was that a long time ago or something? I can't find it.
Yeah, it's 31 messages higher.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. Indio. Okay, hold on. I think I saw you make a comment to the person. I don't see.
Well, I said that God didn't punish people.
Well, yeah, but I'm looking for that person's comment though. I can't find their original comment. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me see. Before the fall. Okay, hold on. So you had a whole conversation with this person or what?
No, I just responded one time and I said, okay, well, wait, I'll ask for you. So I asked for him, but maybe he should come up because this requires breaking down.
Well,
okay. Let me drop down. You can, whoever wants.
My
to come
mic wouldn't turn off. I don't know. I don't see.
No, you can turn the mic off from your actual screen. Like, you know what I mean? Not down there, but
no, Himalaya. I'm not saying that. I'm reading. I'm just reading.
Yeah. I was telling him.
All right. Well, hey, just
the actual question. I just see that they said they had a question, not an actual. They didn't. Put the question in
Himalaya. Do you know this person?
No.
Because I don't see the actual question.
Okay,
I just typed it. Hold on. He said he just typed it. Hold on. Somebody see it? I don't see it.
I think he just meaning that he typed it out.
Let me drop Drake and he can come up and ask his question.
Okay, hold on. I got it right here. It says, if God is just, could he punish Satan without punishing us and giving us a way out? I think I understand the question. I've had people ask this like 20,000 different ways, but you have to understand. I'm just going to give it to you what happened, and you can sit there, not you, but whoever, y'all can sit there and go meditate on this. But whenever Satan got Adam and Eve to fall, he basically had them captive, okay, hostage. This is how you have to understand this. He had them hostage. He's basically saying to God, if you punish me, you have to punish them. That's what happened. So I know people don't understand that, or they don't see it, or they got an issue with that. But I'm sitting there telling you that when he did what he did, he said, basically, if you punish me, you have to punish them. So that's not easy to see. I don't know why, but that's what happened, right? So asking if God's a just God. Let me go back to your question, though. I mean, I know what you're getting at, but I've had that question asked so many different ways, and that has to be understood. But let me see the way you put it. Man, where's it? Yeah, if God is just, could he what the heck?
Greetings.
Amazing. What's going on, man?
God bless you, brother. Well, you know, by him becoming the accuser of the brethren, I can see how that's possible, Drop. See? I mean, and so that's what he does now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you said, you know, he points out the good and the bad, the good and the evil.
Yeah, that's what he does, right? Because if he can show you what's good and show you what's bad, and he knows where you're bad, all he's got to do is up the ante and say, oh, no, this is good. You're not good yet. Oh, well, let me do that. Oh, nope, you're not good yet. So the good and evil, he's steadily pointing that out because it can always make someone feel inadequate. So, all right, let me read it again. It says, if God is just, could he punish Satan without punishing us? No. To answer your question, no, he couldn't have just punished Satan without punishing us. No, because what is he punishing Satan for? What's the reason that he would be punishing Satan for? He'd be punishing him because, and we'll use the word sin if you want to play the game, right? We'll use the word sin and say that he went against God's will. That's what he did. He went against God's will. Well, because Adam and Eve listened to a lie, it was a choice. They chose to listen, which means what they listened to was against God's will. So now everybody, I'm talking about the three, Adam, Eve, and Lucifer, okay? They all went against God's will. So if he's going to punish Satan and not punish Adam and Eve, I'm just saying right there, right there when it happened, I'm saying, you know, I don't know which way you brought it up, but if he was to be like, oh, Satan, bad Satan, pachoom, and punish them, bro, that would be an unjust God if he would have just punished them and not punished us at that time. So instead, he brought us back to life. So sin had to be paid for. Sin did, and Jesus took that sin. And now that sin has been paid for, now the punishment can come upon Satan because God's people were brought back to life by him. So a sacrifice was made. So,
Man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So then I had the question too. You told me to bring it up.
What?
The question was like, so the vengeance on Satan. How is it on Satan? That topic.
What do you mean? What verse are you using?
Okay. Well, I wrote it down, but it's in my thing.
Okay.
It's on the inbox. It's on the inbox with you. So now I gotta go to the Google again.
Oh.
It's Genesis 12. 3:12.
No, it's the scripture that says like vengeance is mine. And he's talking about. Okay, hold on. Let me just pull it up.
Yeah. Let's just pull the verse up. Let's just do that. Pull the verse up. That way we can, because there's going to be people that don't know what verse you're talking about. Let's see. Wait, why? All right. So you like the quote? No, say why was sacrifice? Every time I go over this question, right, why was a sacrifice needed? So as humans, we kind of look at God like, well, you're all powerful. You could have just snapped your fingers. None of that was needed. And, an easy way to answer that is, God is so perfect, okay? Like he understands things so well that under his legal system, he still is going to have to follow his own rules. So when people say, well, why was it even needed? That means you're coming to God with the question that you're saying that if you had all power, there wouldn't have to be no sacrifice. I'll just snap my fingers and redo it. And I just say, you're not you, the person that asked the question, but people who really believe that way, you've lived too much in freaking Mary Poppins land. Like you watch too many movies. You watched Aladdin too many times. Because genies just snap their fingers and make things happen. And that right there shows that God's not like a genie. Okay, so the process has to work itself out. We live in a world that we need to go to McDonald's, Burger King, or whatever fast food restaurant because you need food now. That's pretty much snapping your fingers. Truthfully, if you want to talk about how long it takes to make a hamburger, you have to go unalive a cow. And then you take a portion of that meat, you grind it down, add a little fat if you want to make it more fatty, or you can leave it the way it is, smash it down into a patty, put it in the refrigerator, then you got to go outside and making fire. I'm talking about without all the hocus pocus snapping fingers. I'm saying the true process of making a hamburger is a long process, if you're honest. And so it sounds great to go to McDonald's and be like, I want two. And literally within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you got a number two. But is that the truth? Is that how long it really takes? No, it's not the truth. There was an animal that was unalived. And then that meat was shipped to a market. It was chopped up. It was grinded up. It was made into a pat. The point is, it is a long process to make a hamburger. I'm saying if you're doing it from scratch, it takes a real long time. And so we're so used to everything being fast in our mind, because that's what we're used to. We're going to ask, well, why did we have to go through all of that? Well, the truth is, all that had to be done because it's the process. There's only one way. And we want to believe in this world that there's 50,000 ways, and there's not. If you want a hamburger, and I'm not talking about the argument between vegan and beef or meat or whatever. I'm saying if you want a beef hamburger, bro, you have to unalive a cow. You can't just sit there and hope that a burger shows up. The process has to happen. And if you want to get more crazy with it, the cow that you unalived, now you got to wait for it to be born. How about that? Let's be real honest. So someone says, hey, this heifer right here is pregnant. When that heifer has that cow, I want you to raise it for 3 years. And once you raise it, you can cut the meat up. So that burger didn't just take 3 years. All right. So now the thing's 3 years old. Now you got to unalive it. You got to grind the meat. I'm talking about just enough to get one patty. You ain't got to do the whole cow. Cut your chunk off, grind it up, smash it. You got to go start a fire. It reaches a certain temperature, season your meat, and you don't have any bread. You don't have any lettuce, tomatoes. And I'm watching you, and I'm like, you can't make the burger yet. You don't have tomatoes. You don't have onions and lettuce. Go plant a seed. Before you know it, it took 5 years for you to eat a hamburger. And now we want to ask, well, why did God have to? That's the thing. The whole Bible, when you pay attention to it very closely, a lot of things take a lot of time that's happening in the Bible. A lot of things. So why did there have to be a sacrifice? Now, this part is explained, but in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it talks about God offering a soul for us. And so in order for a soul to be set free from damnation, a soul had to be offered. So why did a sacrifice have to happen? Because under God's legal system, a soul cannot be set free unless a soul is put in this place. So let's just say that was true, that we all would have been, quote unquote, darned to hell, all of us, unless a soul was offered. So it's kind of like someone in a hospital and they need a heart transplant. I hate to say this, but usually how someone gets a heart is someone becomes unalived, and they're put on a list that when someone is unalived and matches, their DNA and size and all that, everything matches, they can have a heart. And so now that person is able to live longer because of this other heart. We see that to be true in this world, and we try to act like we don't understand that all these rules came from God. You cut someone's heart out of them, they're unalive. They're not alive anymore. So you're replacing someone's heart in this world. How are you going to get another heart? Now, I know we can play the game and say, oh, well, one day a machine's going to be able to make one. Yeah. I know that. But from the beginning, that's not true. From the beginning, just like a marriage from the beginning was between two people, right? And what ends up happening is Jesus gets here, and the people of the religious people of the time said, hey, Moses gave us a certificate of divorce, trying to prove that Jesus, it's okay to divorce, Moses said. And Jesus said, yeah, but it wasn't like that from the beginning. So even though we can say, well, 50 years from now, or matter of fact, last year, we had a first artificial heart put into somebody, it still doesn't negate what I'm saying. What I'm saying is before we were able to make organs like that, a person had to become unalived first in order for someone to get another heart. And so we see these things here. We see it to be true. And the Bible tells us in the law, it says an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It goes through these things. Basically, if you hurt someone's eye or knock one out, we're going to take one of yours out. If you knock someone's tooth out, we're going to knock your tooth out. And they really used to do that. And the Bible, so many ways, explains to us that a soul has to be offered up for our soul. And God said that his soul was the one that's going to be offered up. So when you say, why did it have to happen? Because that's the only way it can happen. That's the only way. It's the only truth is what I'm saying. It's the only truth. You cannot take do it.
Basically what you're saying is that God is a God of integrity.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
He's a God of integrity. He's not going to change the rules. That's what we think in our carnal mind. If you were God, listen, if you were God, you would give yourself $1 million without having to work.
Yeah.
That's not how God how God functions.
Right. And
he's a God of integrity.
Yeah. So a lot of people who ask those kind of questions now, I'm not saying to the person who did ask the question, but a lot of times when these questions come up, it's because that's the idea behind it. Like, how come God's not cheating? That means you're not understanding that this is the only way, the truthful way to do it. This is the only way, not cut corners or rig something or cheat or lie. It's our flesh that likes to cheat and lie. And so we take our understanding that we have in this world that it's easier if we cheat or lie. Well, then why did he have to go through all that? And you're using the mind that you have used to corrupt your own life, probably taught other people to corrupt. Again, the person that asked the question, I'm not talking to you. I'm saying people who, now, if you really believe this way, then I am talking to you, no disrespect. But for a person to believe that it's better to cheat, lie, steal, cut corners, for people to believe that mind would question why God does things the way he does. They would question it because they're used to that fast answer, cutting corners. They're not used to meditating, taking your time, slow down. Let's way and the most correct way to solve this issue. Instead, let's just do a real quick right now, right here. Let's just do the easy, the easy, lazy thing rather than doing the hard right thing. And there's a lot of people in this world, they would rather do the lazy, hard, easy thing than to take the hard way and to do it right, because it's going to be more time consuming, causes you to think more. And that's the Islamic believer's mindset. It doesn't befit God to come into humanity. Why can't he just go and make it go away? Yeah.
Because it's a carnal mind. And I've always told him that, like, you got to understand, my God is a God of integrity. I don't know who your God is.
Yeah.
Your God cuts corners. He's the best of deceivers. He does whatever he wants to do. He's up there playing what you would consider God in like a cartoon. That's the kind of God you serve. The kind of God I serve is a God of integrity. If he says that that the blood gives life, then that's what it takes to give life, is the blood, period. So it's not very hard to understand, but they choose to, they choose to say God is cutting corners. Your God wore diapers. They say,
the thing too with that, Andre, is that God, God takes that very serious, because in Ezekiel 18, he declares that all souls are mine. Yeah. And so when it comes to the matter of taking a life or attempting to take a soul that belongs to God, you're going beyond the pale now. Now you're trying to take something that is not rightfully yours, and God will have to make that hard task before the foundation of the world, because even Jonah understood how serious God is about human life. He said, I knew you would be merciful and save these people. And then when you look at Cain, who slew Abel, well, who gave you the right to spill blood in a territory that you don't own, that's not yours? I mean, when you do something like that, you are following the lead of Satan to try to, because he was a murderer from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking Satan's lead. And so God takes that very serious. It cost somebody some blood. And so it has always been that premise. The life of the flesh is in the blood, Leviticus 17:11. And God, he taking account for every ounce of blood that's spilled, however it was spilled. But God takes account for that, because all souls are his.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a righteous judge.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. You brought up Jonah. Jonah, to me, Jonah 5, chapter 5 is one of the funniest chapters in the whole Bible to me.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. Jonah was like, I knew you was gonna do that. That's why I didn't want to come here, man. These people deserve to burn. They're heretics. They're pagans. They're dogs. He was upset, boy. He was not happy that these people were going to be forgiven, bro. It's so funny to me. That guy is something else, man. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
That's even like when Moses struck the rock twice, and we know that was typological of God striking him, and for Moses to do it twice, God took that very serious, right? Because that was like Moses striking the shepherd twice. And God already had determined that it would happen once and for all. So it's deep connotation to that. And God takes that serious. Even in the Psalm when it says, he who mocks the poor mocks his maker. So we have to even be careful how we treat our brother, how we treat one another, because God, he holds that very sacred and dear to his heart, how we treat each other, because all souls are precious to God. Even when in Hebrews, I think 13, he talks about how we ought to be at peace with all men. Be careful how you entertain. You may entertain strangers, angels, unaware. Anyway, like I said, that was a very good question there. But it's serious business, because it's all about the souls of men, which ultimately belong to God. And people think that they're their own, but no, you're not. Then, especially when you come into the body of Christ, according to Corinthians, you are bought with the price. Now you bought with the precious blood of Christ, and you are not your own, because you were paid with by the precious blood of the Lamb. So that's very significant.
So like when you read Jonah, and it's funny because I was actually going over this weekend. It's pretty funny that was kind of brought up. But if you look at Jonah, in chapter 3, the last verse in chapter 3, verse 10, it says, "And God saw their works, that they turned away from their evil, and God repented of the evil that he said he would do unto them, and he did it not." So God basically, all it's saying is that God forgave them, right? And in the next chapter, the first verse, it says, "But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry." He was very angry, and he prayed unto the Lord and said, "I pray thee, O Lord, was not this my saying when I was yet in the country? Therefore I fled before unto Tarshish," which is the carnal stuff, "for I knew that thou art a gracious God, and slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repentest thee of them. Therefore now, O Lord, take, I beseech thee, my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live." So he's like, take my life. That's how angry he was. It's funny because I've seen Christians act like that. Like, if I don't see God the way I imagine him, send me to hell. Like, that's crazy. And then verse 4, the verse 4 is hilarious. The Lord said, "Dost thou well to be angry?" Like, how are you mad that somebody is forgiven? And it kind of took me down this rabbit hole. I went to Ephesians 5, 1 and 2. It says, "Be ye therefore followers of God, or as dear children, and walk in love as Christ also has loved us, and has given us for us an offering and a sacrifice for a sweet smelling savor." It's telling us right there to be followers of Christ, to be like him. And in other words, to have that mindset. And then you jump over to Matthew 14:16, it says, "For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive you your trespasses." It starts getting a little heavy there.
Yeah,
and then you jump over.
All the way to some.
Appreciate you, Bill. Then you jump over to well, I'll just stop there. But yeah, so you can see, like,
That's good.
the mindset. The mindset of God is that if he forgives us, we shouldn't be like Jonah. Being like Jonah is a very carnal-minded thing. Now, I'm not saying that if you have committed crimes in this world, there's going to be punishments for them. I want to make that very clear. Don't think that because God forgave you, you don't still hold an account to this world that we live in. Because even though we're not of this world, we're in this world, and we still abide by the rules of this world. And Paul even tells us to abide by the rules and respect, the people in authority and all this other stuff. So we still have to follow the rules of this land. And if you break the rules of this land, there is punishment to come for it. And that's a fact. If you do certain crimes, you'll never be able to do certain things in your life. You will never be able to be, for example, a school teacher or like a pastor, or, in this world, right? You won't be able to do these roles because of the crimes you have committed. But the forgiveness of God is still the same, and we should still people, because God loves them. But again, I don't want to take away the fact that if you've done certain things in life, you probably can't do everything that you want to do because we're still in this world, if that makes sense.
Takes away your ability to witness to certain crowds if you've done certain things. But the Jonah story, the Jonah story reminds me of the passage that talks about the forgiveness of the Gentiles would bring the Jews to jealousy. And that's kind of what Jonah was experiencing, the free grace essentially for those people that he got jealous of and didn't want to see happen because he assumed how they were on the inside when he.
I got a question. Now that I'm thinking about that, Dre, and tell anybody on the panel. So, I don't know really what the topic of discussion was right there, but what just in my mind was when I think about the rod, the staff, the rod that was in Moses' hand, right? And then he struck the rock. So, if the rod is Christ, the rock is Christ, right? Is that God striking God? I mean,
the Bible says that it pleased him to bruise his right hand, right?
Mm-hmm. It's himself. He emptied himself.
Yeah. He has bad reception.
And also, nobody can take his life, right? He takes his own life.
Yeah, don't say it like that though, because then it sounds like he committed suicide. Don't get ate up. You're gonna get ate up for that one. You got to choose your words wisely.
Too direct.
Alex asked a question that I also want to answer to. Okay, well, he said, can we call out false gospels? My question is, how do we discern what is a false gospel? So,
you'd have to know what the gospel is, and then, anything that is opposite or outside of that.
Well,
I would say, listen. I would say whatever somebody says, you have to kind of sit on it in a way, right? Because like when you hear people when you hear Trot speaking on these scales, most people that are quote Trot speaking, and they'll say he is the devil, he is a false prophet, this is a false. No, it's not true. So how do you get? So the question is, and I take this like if Benny was up here, me and him have talked about this, because when we heard Trot for the first time, it was like, let me sit on this for a second. Let me go through scripture. Let me meditate on the scriptures, and see if this matches what he's saying. And when you do that, you'll see that the truth is there. So when you start sitting on it, you'll start seeing that Jesus is the rod. I didn't see nobody on this app come up here and say Jesus is the rod, and they were like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Like when Trot, a matter of fact, I'll tell you the first time Trot said it, and I was like, hold on, bro. Like you're gonna have to back this up a little bit. You have to put this in reverse, and I want to hear you go beep, 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 because I'm not understanding this. When Jesus is faith, I said, hold on, bro. And a matter of fact, one of my good friends, we lost him. He used to come here. He doesn't come anymore. I'm not gonna say his name. He's like, nah, he's a false teacher, bro. The man said Jesus was faith. He never came back, right? But when you sit there and when he explains it, when he goes through the script, I said, "No, I need you to like break this down." Now, if he would have gave me a Jesse answer and said just because Jesus is faith, and that's the Bible, you don't have eyes, you don't have eyes, you don't see, oh, you must be blind. That's not an answer. That's not an answer, okay? And that's why I try to tell people, and that's why I push back so much on my other account when people say stuff. I'm like, you gotta show where you got this from. You can't just say it's Jesus, you don't see it, you don't have eyes, halas. You're a pagan. You can't do that. So try when I asked him, like, you got to break that down. And when he took me to Matthew, I'll never forget that. Like, I have that's so embedded in me now. When he took me to the servant, he said, look at what the servant was doing. And I said, hold up, bro. And then he took me to Eleazar's servant. I said, hold on, bro. And then he took me to all these, seeing that faith is the servant is Christ. Hold on, bro. So these things start coming together. So when somebody says, how do you test something as a false gospel? You can't just immediately, unless it's something blatant, obviously. If they say Jesus isn't God, obviously go kick rocks, and then go kiss the Kaaba and go around it 7 times like it's Jericho, make it come down. You're a fool, right? But when we're talking about other parables, you can't just immediately throw it out the window and say, well, you just got to compare it to the scriptures. When people say that, what they're saying is one scripture doesn't say exactly how that says, so therefore this part is a false doctrine. And that's not true. You got to go through the whole scriptures, go through the whole rod, and go through every single in the Old Testament and find them and say, hold on, bro. So the rod is connected to this, the rod is connected to that, and then the tree of life, and then you have the tree over here, and then you have the Mara tree, and then you have, it says that he will branch out as a root. Hold on, a root? So he's the root, he's the seed, and you start putting all these things together, then you say, oh, okay, what this man is talking about is scripturally sound. But it takes a minute, bro. You can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater immediately. That's not how that works. So I just want to make sure that's not an easy 1-2 step, like, oh, just measure it with the spirit. No, it's more than that, because people don't even know what that means, to be honest. So, yeah, I just went on a whole rant, but that is the God honest truth. That's how you do it.
Okay, thank you. Because, yeah, I understand now. Because there's a lot of people that say, well, if you don't believe it this way, then you're a heretic.
Yeah, but those are carnally minded people. Like, that's the thing. Like, you've never. I will say this, and I'm going to throw Trot his flowers. I have never seen Trot call somebody a heretic because they can't see. And I learned something, and I was like, yo, this dude is really like a little different. And I started understanding that when you actually can see, and you look, you say, hey, this person is blind. Like I said before, if a blind person is crossing the road and the light turned green, he's standing in front of your car, you're going to honk your horn at him? Hurry up. You're going to roll down your window and hey, hurry up, blind dude. You're walking too slow. Are you going to do that? You're just going to be like, he's blind. He has the blind stick. He has the dark shades on. You're going to wait and be patient and allow them to cross the street. So when you truly can see, you don't sit here and call people a heretic and you're going to hell because you don't see it the same way I do. If perfect theology was the reason that you go to heaven, every single last one of us will go to hell. How about that?
I was one of those that would call people heretics and stuff like that. And he didn't pull my thing. He did it in gentleness, but he showed me also, hey, what are you doing? Just because they're not seeing it this way. And we had a long conversation, especially with a video that I posted. I got a lot of backlash, and he broke it down. And ever since that, bro, I stopped. I might call a couple of people like that, but jokingly, in fun manner. But I totally got it.
Yeah, I goof around and call people heretics. Me and Renegade and a whole bunch of other people, we're friends though. It's not like it's not like I'm viciously calling them a heretic like some other people do out there that call others heretics viciously, right? To try to condemn them to hell. Obviously, I'm just playing. Like, for example, Rise Wolf is going to be a heretic forever. To me, he's a heretic, right? I love Rise Wolf, but that's my heretic brother right there, right? He comes up with some wild stuff. That's I hope he's in here so he can talk trash. I don't know if he is, but
he opened up live the other day.
So it takes, but my point is like you have to literally measure, and these are not things that you measure in a matter of, listen, there's over 8,000 hours in a year. Over 8,000 hours in a year. I had said this before, he took me down a rabbit hole because I love going down a rabbit hole. When he say something like, I'm gonna go look at this. I don't take everything, I don't just eat everything Trot says. I go back, trust me, he'll let you know. I text him and I'll be like, hey man, I go through all this stuff. When I realized that there's over 8,000 hours in a year, I said, how many years have I actually studied the Bible? And if you study that, if you read the Bible 1 hour a day, for a whole year, that's 365 hours, my friend. That's not even an eighth of the Bible. That's not even an eighth of a year. So you would have to read the Bible you have to study the Bible over 8,000 hours to say that you studied the Bible for a year. But when you talk to people, they'll say, I've been studying the Bible for 25 years. Oh, really? Oh, really? Like I have a lot of pastor friends. I'm a pastor, a preacher, and I meet these people. I'm like, oh, really? So, and when you start making friends with them, you realize that people read the Bible to bring a message. So it's like you studied the Bible 3 hours this week to bring this message. So if you read the Bible 3 hours a week times 57 weeks or whatever it is, bro, you're still not even scratching the surface of a year of studying the Bible. Not even a year. And most people only study the Bible for 30 minutes, 45 minutes when they're paying attention and not thinking about McDonald's while at church on Sunday. And on Wednesdays, they show up because you're supposed to. So you're there and you go to the bathroom for 15 minutes out of the 30-minute sermon and you come back because the pastor's boring you to death. And when you think about it, you didn't study the Bible not even 365 hours in 1 year, but you've been a Christian for 20 years. So technically, you're a baby Christian. That's why you can have somebody who actually dives into the Bible for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years straight, and they're completely on a whole nother level from a pastor who's been a pastor for 15 years. And then when you point out the wrongdoings, and they're like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I went to seminary for 4 years. You're a nobody." No, brother, you went to seminary and you studied certain things for a certain amount of time, but you still you haven't really put in the time, like the Bible says, to meditate on the word of God, to ruminate on the word of God, to regurgitate it and eat it back again and go back and study this thing out. And that's why you see most people, even in this live right now, I guarantee you there's people in here that say Trot is crazy. It was a real snake and it was a real apple. And I don't care what he says, he's wrong. I promise you there's people in here right now that believe that. I promise you. So go ahead, Trot, man. I just went on a whole rant.
Man, what started this? I leave for 30 seconds.
Sounded like Trot out here.
We're on
It
heresy.
was Alex's question. What is false doctrine? Or how do you? What was the question again? It was something to do with.
How do you tell if something is a false doctrine? And the McDonald's answer is you measure with the Spirit.
Yeah.
You measure the Spirit. Yeah,
they'll say as soon as I heard that person say that, my spirit was like, don't listen. Like, look,
it didn't sit well in my spirit.
It just didn't sit well. Look, so I'm going to tell you
my left leg twitched, and when my left leg twitches, I know that it is the left side of God, not the righteousness of
my
God.
hair on the back of my neck will still stand up. My left big toe will start twitching, and I'll just know that So basically,
you guys go through all that. All I do is Holy Spirit activate. Holy Spirit activate.
This heretic.
So let me just say this real quick. The easiest way, and it's not the simplest way, but it's an easy way to explain it, but it ain't simple to do in real life. So, whenever people who are in like counterfeit, like in Homeland Security, they have a department, right? The money counterfeit department and all this. Well, they don't teach them how to find counterfeit money. That's not really what they do. They show them examples of counterfeit money, but that's not the process on how to make someone an expert in counterfeit money. What they do is they take real money and they get those people so familiar with real money that you couldn't miss them if you tried. And I'm telling you, the Bible is the same way. Your job is not to learn. And Satan teaches, this is what Satan teaches. He teaches, how can you come against another religion if you haven't studied it? What a perfect way to get someone to waste their time on studying another religion so you can refute it. A disciple doesn't waste their time with such things. They get more familiar with what is true. That's how you find a counterfeit. How do you know if something is counterfeit? Because you get so familiar with the thing that is true, Satan couldn't miss you if he tried. So that's the point that I'm making. The counterfeit department people, they get so familiar with American money, you can go try to make it yourself if you want to, but it literally would have to be identical in order to fool one of them, because they are masters at what American currency looks like, smells like, feels. They're masters at it. That's why you don't see the way we make money. You don't see it change that much. You'll see like visual things that change, but like the ink and like the type of fabric and a lot of that stuff stays the same because it helps the pass down of training. So, so the question, how can you tell if someone has a false gospel or counterfeit? The only way you're going to be able to tell is if you yourself is so familiar with the truth that when you hear something different, it won't be able to, you won't believe what you're hearing. But there are levels to the Bible. And so you have people, and it's true, they just happen to understand more about the Bible. And basically what people are doing is in their little small circle in their life, they don't have anybody that is stepping out and like experimenting. I'm going to use that word, out of their circle. Notice what I'm saying. I'm not saying experimenting more in the Bible. No, of knowledge. But if you don't step out of your little small circle of friends and you hear something different because y'all have been, compartmentalizing certain parts of the Bible, you're not reading the whole thing in its entirety. And, you just have your own little, 5 to 30 group of people, even if it's a few hundred. I've seen a few hundred people literally, say certain things aren't true. And there's a few hundred of them, but it's not true because they only stick around themselves. But the Bible makes it very clear. But it's not just by, one thing. It's by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Every word. God doesn't stop talking, and the Bible doesn't stop talking. The Bible is full of multiple levels of education as far as biblical education. And so, it's a very simple answer. There are people that are going to be more familiar with the Bible than others. And yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Like me, obviously I have a lot of shoes. I know exactly what a pair of Jordan 1s is supposed to feel like. I know the stitching. I know what the tongue is supposed to say. I know what country they're supposed to be made in, bro. Like I know this because I know my shoes.
Yeah.
So if you give me a fake pair of J's, all I have to do is grab it and I can bend the sole. I can look at the tongue and look at the distance of the tongue and how the tongue feels and how the cushion on the sides feels. I can immediately, with my hands, tell you this is a fake pair. Easy. It doesn't take but a hot second for me to figure out either fake or real. And it's only because I didn't go study fake shoes, buy fake shoes. I have real shoes, and I studied the real shoes in order to know when you give me a fake, I can immediately tell like this leather is not right. This model is supposed to have elephant leather on it, and it doesn't. Like I already know the things that it's supposed to be. So you can immediately tell something is off. The stitching is off. The perfection isn't on there. Things of that nature. So you get Temu shoes. Hope 44 444. I feel bad for you.
Hey, and also Alex got a question.
Alex, what's up, man? What's going on?
Can you call out false gospel?
Yo, God bless. I didn't want to interrupt. So that wasn't actually my question, how to spot out false gospels. My question was, if I call out false gospel or false teachings, can I do it in a way where I don't have to worry about hurting their feelings because they're adults? I don't have to, correct? Or am I going on about it?
Yeah, who would these people be? Like friends, family, strangers?
People on the internet.
Okay, but my question is, are they friends, family, or strangers?
Strangers.
Okay, so the rule number one, right? Like in this world, right? It makes sense in the spiritual world too. I'm just showing you something like, so rule number one is you can't speak in someone's life unless they allow you to. Right? So like, let's say me and my wife went to a church and, my wife, she has a tattoo on her wrist right here. It's not very big, but it's right there. You know, if somebody were to come up to me and her, and it's our first time at this church, and they would come up and say, hey, you know, it's wrong to have tattoos. Whether they're telling the truth or not, I don't know who this person is. Like, where is this idea that it's okay to lose our manners because we're puffed up with knowledge, and now I'm going to go abuse people because they need to hear what is true? When Jesus was here, it said that even from the area that he was from, he can only heal a few sick people. Was Jesus the problem, or was the people the problem?
The people.
Right.
The people didn't have belief.
Okay, so you can't speak into someone's life unless they allow you to speak in their life. Jesus had all the truth, but they didn't allow him to speak truth in their life. So we make a mistake when we hear somebody saying something that we know is not true. We make a mistake believing that we have a Jesus police badge and I'm going to go correct. I'm right, without understanding I have no authority over that person's life. I don't know them. We're not friends. So it's not that you don't recognize when someone is saying something wrong. It's not that. It's just that your flesh wants to handle it how it wants to handle it, when we're supposed to handle it through the Spirit, which is speak. Well, let me just finish. Which is speak in someone's life when they want you to speak in their life. So a problem with TikTok is people forget this rule. They come on a TikTok and they say, I have a truth. And someone else says, oh, well, I have a truth too. Well, let's get in the room and fight about it. Again, I'm not saying that that's always the motive. Like, I want to fight. There are some people who just like to fight and argue about everything. There's people I know for a fact, they come on this app and that's how they talk to their boss at work. I could just tell. Like they talk to everybody like that. So they come on the app because, they just like to argue and fight. But, the point is, if someone was to say that to my wife, I would immediately say, hey, man, do we know you? Well, no. I said, okay, well then, it's funny. You know so much of the law, but you forgot manners. Where's your manners at? Hello, my name is so-and-so. This is my wife. Her name is so-and-so. So love is a great equalizer. Being someone's friend is more important than being right about something. So let's say that what the person was saying was true. Well, it don't matter if it's true or not. You're not going to just speak in my life. I don't know you. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you believe. You're not going to speak in my life. Now, someone would say, bro, that's Jesus. No, that's not Jesus. Jesus didn't force himself on anybody. You go pay real close attention to Jesus's life. He didn't force himself on anyone. He only spoke in people's lives who wanted him to speak in their life. The scribes and the Pharisees would chase him around, right? Just like people do on each other on TikTok. The scribe and the Pharisees would go chasing him around, trying to find fault. Like when someone comes up and goes, I have a question. No, you're just being a scribe and a Pharisee. Now, 9 times out of 10, that's what's happening. I don't even want to say, I want to say 9 times out of, no. So, no, I don't know. 95 times out of 100. Let me just make the odds better. 95 or 98 times out of 100, that's really what people are doing. So there's a 1, 2, maybe even a 3% chance that a person is being genuine, but you can find that out through discussion. So just to get back to the simple part of the answer, you cannot speak into someone's life unless they allow you to. That's the simple answer to that question.
So I wouldn't say I was being rude. It's more like if I see something being said which is not true, like I'm going to give you the example. I've seen someone saying Mary gives us grace, and through Mary we grow in the Spirit.
Yeah.
So am I wrong by pointing out with scripture, not by calling them names or anything like that, just pointing out with scriptures publicly the truth.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, everybody has their own conscience, right? And so if you feel like going on someone's live or in person or whatever, if you don't feel like telling someone, hey, I just want you to know I disagree, from there, you got to play the room, right? Like, for instance, people will come up here and they'll say, hey, I disagree with what you said. And I'm like, so? Well, you said, and I said, oh, no. I don't argue about it. So you can come up here and say I disagree, but I don't care why you disagree. Like, conversation's over. See, and what they want is, again, you can't read people's minds, but for the most part, they're used to going to lives where people like to argue and like to fight. So, but there's nothing wrong for you to go up and tell someone, hey, I disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. But is it going to become fruitful? Like, if you tell them, hey, Mary's not, all this gray stuff you're talking about, I don't believe any of that. You could say that all you want, but like I said, you cannot speak into someone's life unless they allow you to, which means if you reject something they're saying and they're not allowing you to speak in their life, meaning to help them grow, then you're wasting time with this person. It'd be better for you to find someone who wants to grow, right? So instead of trying to find the counterfeit, go find someone that wants to grow in the truth that you know. Our job is not to go look for all the counterfeit money. Our job is to know what our Bible says and make disciples. So, I understand what you're saying. Like, well, the person was saying this and it's wrong. Oh, well, they're grown. They're a grown adult. They can believe in any wrong thing they want. If they're not asking you to help them understand something, then they're not asking you to speak in their life. You're forcing your opinion and your viewpoint on them, and they don't care. And you're helping them grow their ridiculous life by what it sounds like, by you staying in there and promoting whatever they're promoting, so, but like I said, everybody's conscience is different. One thing the Bible makes clear is we're not supposed to mess with people's conscience, and you're not supposed to mess with your own. So I'm not telling you not to go disagree with people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, ask yourself some questions. Is this person being receptive? Are they listening? Do they understand what I'm telling them? Or do they even care? If the answers to all of those is, I don't care, you're a, heretic, as I've heard this, if you don't believe this, you're a heretic. And, you're just sitting there wasting time when you can be finding someone who you can help to grow in understanding in what you learned, like so far in your life, So again, it just comes down to two main factors. Let's say you spend an hour or 30 minutes talking to whoever these people are, and it was not fruitful. It was not edifying, not even a little bit. But then you go find someone who wants to grow, and you're helping them grow for an hour. Very fruitful, very edifying. It would be wise to do that than to do the latter.
I mean, I totally agree because I didn't stick around and waste my time. And obviously it is true by teaching with love, because the person that I brought in here last time, Leonard, I think his name was, I pointed out something and I didn't go off and start saying you're a heretic or anything. I just said, look, if you want to listen, I'll show you scripture. If you don't, then that's up to you. But yeah, so basically I was just worrying should I just let them be, or should I point it out? That's just my question at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, the reason that you let it be is because of this number one factor, man. You cannot speak into someone's life unless they allow you to. So if you're speaking in someone's life and telling them something that's true, but the whole time they're like this, and they're like, I don't care. You're not speaking in their life. Speaking in someone's life is someone that's asking you, hey, how do how can I do that better? Anything that you're teaching someone, the person has to be receptive. They have to be acknowledging what you're saying, telling you, I want to learn, and actually are learning something. Like if you were to set up a class, at some, let's say you went to a hotel and rented out a room, and you're like, I'm teaching this, and you're just waiting around. It would make no sense for you to stand out in the hallway of this hotel yelling at everybody for not coming in your classroom. You know darn well that don't make any sense. But if you sit in your classroom and someone walks in, then you can make contact with them and talk to them because they came to you. Now, then now that person needs to be taught that they can't speak into someone's life unless. So now they're trying to speak into Alex's life about something that you don't believe in, and I would have to give them the talk. Say, hey, you can't speak into someone's life unless they allow you to. Well, he says that he wants to talk about this, and that's a lie. Then now I got to talk to that person about it. But let's say someone walks in and said, hey, I've always had questions about this. And let's say a year goes by and you've been discipling them for a year. Well, the only reason that's possible is because they allowed you to speak in their life. They allowed it. You can't you can't cast out Satan with Satan. If someone's being very carnal minded about the Bible, you can't use your carnal mind and get them to understand what you're saying. So love is a great equalizer. God is love, right? So loving someone, regardless what they believe, that's the way to be. That's the way to be. And God said, you'll know if they're my disciple because they know how to love one another. Well, sadly, on this app, there's a lot of converts that don't know how to love one another, but yet they got the truth. Truth. And again, I'm teasing, but I'm just saying, like, if they would just know how to love people, it would all work out better for them. But instead, they're going to pull out their machete, go to the Jerry Springer show for 3 hours, and I'm going to get you to see my point. And that's not how love works. Love doesn't work that way.
It's like in a natural sense. I'm trying to take out truth and hell and heaven and all that other stuff and salvation. When you just go to a regular basic understanding. If you guys have ever gone fishing with an old guy, let me tell you something, bro. When I go fishing with my father-in-law, ain't no telling this man nothing. He's not going to let you speak into his life. He's been fishing for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So for you to tell him, like, hey, man, there's a better way of doing a knot, he's going to say, I don't care. I've been doing my knot this way for 30 years, and I've caught more crappie in my lifetime than you can ever imagine. And there's nothing you're going to be able to tell him. Even if it's a better idea, it's not going to matter. So now if he's like open to it and says, oh, let me see the young blood, what you talking about? Let me see what you're doing over there. And he wants to learn, then you show him like, hey, Pops, look, so this is how this now. We'll say, oh, man, that's pretty neat. But unless he allows, say, hey, man, check out this new knot. Bro, if he says, I already know how to fish, I've been doing it for a long time, you might as well just leave it alone. You're not going to force him to say, hey, but I want you to see this knot.
Yeah.
You're not going to stand there and fight with the man about showing him when you fish it. It's not going to happen, bro. So unless he's open to understanding, there's no point in doing that, bro. I'm sorry. It's just in anything in life. It's not just the Bible, just anything.
Yeah, and I'll say this. So everybody always puts the pressure on someone that wants to teach. There's so many lazy people in this life. If you just pay attention, there's so many lazy people. They'll know that you have everything they need to learn from, and something in them, which is called pride, will say, no, I'm not learning from that person. And you'll know it. You'll know it. You'll say, hey, let me show you how to do this. No, I'm good. No, you're going to let me show you. No, bro. But you have to be, the truth goes on both sides. We're supposed to be good teachers, and you're supposed to be a good student. A good student will say the truth to themselves, that I suck, I know nothing, and you know a lot, and I need that. So you know what you do? You shut your mouth, you swallow your pride, and you learn what that person has. You know why? Because it helps you. Keeping your pride and saying, nope, I don't want them to think I learned nothing from, then you don't understand what a blessing is from God then. See, a blessing from God comes when you're praying to have knowledge and someone is sitting right there that can help you. And you're like, no, God, you need to send someone else. That is called pride. And pride will cost you more money than you want to pay. Than you want to. Pride is no joke, man. I remember when I first started learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and like how to box. I was in the Army. Like I learned a little bit from some family and stuff, but when I joined the service, it was the first time that I hit a speed bag. I was in the gym. I'll never forget it. And it was the first time ever that I swallowed my pride, because in basic training, I know I don't know nothing. So it's kind of easy to swallow your pride in basic training. I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on. Okay. But when you're already in, right? And you're at the gym and you're standing at the speed bag, I'm like, man, I ain't never hit one of these. I had no idea how to hit one. So I just started hitting it. I noticed a guy that was probably, I was 20. So this guy might have been 30. But he, 20 and 30, sometimes they can look around the same age. I'm just saying around. So I knew he was young too. And I saw him staring at me. And I'm like, man, why's that guy looking over here? Well, he had been boxing for like 10 years. So he knows how to hit one of them. He notices somebody struggling. So he walks over there and he says, hey, can I show you a better way to do that? And I'm telling you, the young me, right? Like out of high school, like the young me was like, man, I got this, get away from me. But because I went through basic training and I've learned even more how to swallow my pride, I took a step back and I'm like, sure. But I could feel the pride, bro. I'm being honest. I could feel it. I want to tell him, man, get away from here. But I'm learning. I'm just figuring, this kind of stuff out. So I said, yeah, sure. And he goes, look, it's like this. He starts showing, he just does it in front of me. He just does it. I'm like, holy crap. Like what? He goes, look. And he explains what I needed to do. And I was like, oh. And so right there, the way he explained it, the way he showed me, I was already starting to get it, like right there. I said, oh man, that. He's like, no worries, whatever, He walks away. Well, a few days later, I'm in there again. He wasn't in the gym because I was looking for him, but he wasn't in there. And I went up there and I'm just doing what he showed me. And before I know it, I feel like, how sometimes you could tell if somebody's behind you? I felt that. And I turned away and he goes, hey man, he's like, that's looking good. He goes, if you need any help, let me know. Man, he wasn't able to turn around. I was like, hey, I need some help. I was like, hey, I need some help. And at the same time, I could feel this pride in me. Pride is a funny thing. So he's like, oh yeah, sure. So he gave me another 5 or 10 minutes of his time. No big deal. And about a year down the road, I see a young dude. Now I'm only about 22, 23. He might've been my same age, but I know he was younger. And I'm telling you, like deja vu, I was looking at myself like, how do I hit this thing? I go, well, I guess I might as well go there. I might as well go over there. So I did it the exact same way. I said, hey, you want to know a better way to do that? He looks at me, he goes, yeah. I said, all right, look, man. So, but he was receptive. He received what I was showing him. And every time I was in the gym, he was like, hey, am I doing better? And I'm just laughing because he doesn't know that this is exactly how I learned. He don't know. And so I was like, bro, yeah. I was like, you keep that up, you're going to be better than me. And I mean, dude got really good at it. But that right there started a whole new thing in me that you're not supposed to be ashamed of not knowing something. That kind of fear and pride comes from Satan, that you're going to look stupid if you don't know anything. That's, again, that I say this all the time. It's like an 8-year-old boy walks in front of all of us, an 8-year-old kid, and me and other guys in their 30s and 40s start laughing at him because he doesn't have a beard. This is what pride does. Pride tells you that their laughter makes sense. So the 8-year-old boy is going to be like, well, they're older, they're laughing, so, well, it's got to be true, whatever it is. When the truth is, that a 30 or 40-year-old man knows exactly why he doesn't have a beard. It has nothing to do with how much you know or any of that. It's just his body's not there yet. So, but that's how a person can feel whenever, like in their own mind, they'll believe that, like for instance, I don't want to go like let's say the 8-year-old boy, after he got laughed at, he doesn't want to be around adults anymore. And you say, why not? Because he thinks that their argument that everyone's making fun of me because I have a beard. But when you educate, which is empowering the 8-year-old with the truth that you can't have a beard. What do you mean? You're not. And, you know, Dre and some of these other big bearded gorillas, you know, had a beard when they were freaking 4 years old. You know, that's different. But I'm saying for the most of us, you know, we had to wait till we're about 12 or 13 until something started coming in. But when you empower someone with truth, they're able to be more successful in life. When you tell them the truth, that why do you feel stupid when you are around adults? Well, because I don't have a beard, they make fun of me. But then you tell them the truth. Now, because of that truth, they'll walk with their head tall in front of them adults. And matter of fact, they can't wait for one of them to laugh. So they can tell them, you're a liar. 8-year-olds don't have beards. You're a liar. And then they'll walk away. But with pride says, no, people are going to think I'm stupid. Not if they know that you are like, you know, like, okay, my wife, for an example, you know, she's only been a cop for under 2 years. So, you know, if she was to ever feel like she doesn't want, you know, anyone to think that she's like not a good cop or she don't have her stuff together, if she says to herself, well, I don't want them to think I'm dumb, or I don't want them, that comes from Satan. Because if you tell them, look, I've been doing this for a year or 2 years or whatever the timing is, you know, but I'm learning. And one thing you don't have to worry about is I know how to shoot and I know how to do this. I may not be an A in everything, but I'm a B in everything. So, and I'm very, you know, I pay attention, right? Attentive to everything that's going on. And so people understand. I mean, how many times have you been at a cash register and you could tell someone's new, bro? That they got someone hovering over their shoulder. Oh, look, the extra fries here. Oh, they want a double meat. Look, you got to come down here and hit this button. And the person's being taught. It don't make any sense to tell the person, hey, dummy, figure it out. Why are you asking for people for help? Bro, I don't know who in their mind thinks that's how the world, I don't know who thinks what. Yeah, but that's not how the world works.
Hey, try.
Yeah.
Well, just for the record, I have 3 nephews, right? So one of my nephews, the older nephew, he's 17. He's very hairy, bro. He has like a full beard already, like a full-grown beard. And my other 2 nephews, his little brothers, one of them is like 10 and the other one's like 7, like Levi's age. And I tell him all the time, I say, you see Mega? I call my oldest nephew Mega. I say, you see Mega? Mega has that full beard like I do. Well, you know why? Because we're not adopted. We're real Jews. Yeah. You guys were adopted. You don't have beards. Yeah. And they run to my sister and they're like, Uncle said we're adopted. Is it true? Because we don't have a beard. Yeah. I was like, yep, that's right. You don't have a beard. You're adopted. You don't belong to us.
Yeah.
I mess with them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you know, when obviously you're. Hold on a second, Trot.
Trot's going crazy. Someone's here.
I tell my nephew, you can wear that Star of David if you want to, but you're not real. They get the crying, boy.
You're not a real Jew.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a beard.
You don't have a beard. You're not a real Jew. Go sit down somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. But but anyway, I think, I'm kind of beating a dead horse here. I'm just trying to make sure that that what I'm saying, it's fully conveyed, because it is true that pride, because what I'm pointing out is it's not okay to be a person that says you're not a good teacher. So for instance, if you're trying to teach somebody something, okay? Come here. What is going on? So if you're trying to teach someone something, and let's say you're not as kind, right? I'm not saying you're aggressive and really mean, but you're not, okay, guys, today, let's say you're not acting like that. And they're like, well, you're just not a good teacher. And you're like, why not? Well, because you're kind of mean. If I'm trying to learn something and someone's just being imperfect, right? Like they're not very patient, because let's say that, let's say you have that, what's it called? It's a syndrome. Can't remember what it's called, but it's you learn slow and forget fast.
Down syndrome?
No, bro, it's not a syndrome. I'm just saying that if you have someone you're teaching that's one of them, that they learn slow and forget fast, it's a hard syndrome to beat. So if you don't understand what I mean, I'll say it again. They learn slow and forget fast. It's I don't understand what's going on out there. And you're being very patient, but they just are not picking up what you're putting down. Whatever it is you're teaching. There are some people that will say that, well, you're not a good teacher because sometimes you're impatient and you're in this and that, but yet they're complaining the whole time. They complain about everything. And I always tell them, it's funny, you're pointing out how bad of a teacher I am. I said, but I ain't pointed out one time how bad of a student you are. I said, out of all the students I've had, you've complained more. I said, you have to be a good student too. You can't point the finger at everybody as a teacher like if you're not a student and all you're doing is complaining. And let me tell you something. A good student is a one that shuts their mouth. They sit down, they swallow the pride, and no matter what, they're going to learn this. That's a good student. So if you're not doing that, don't start complaining about the teacher if you're not a perfect student. Okay? Now, if you are a perfect student, which means you shut your mouth, you do what you're told, you don't complain, but yet this person is like mad dogging you and all, acting crazy, then okay, then you can bring it up. But if they're trying to tell you how to do something better and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it that way. Just teach me how to do this, but you're not going to teach me how to do that better. It's kind of like asking Tiger Woods to teach you how to play golf, but you go, oh, you ain't got to teach me how to putt. I just want to know how to drive. What? Bro, that's not how this works. Well, no, I don't want you to teach me. He's like, wait, let me get this straight. So you know that I can help you be a better putter, but you only want me to teach you to drive. Do you know what the person's going to do? Just teach you how to drive. But let me ask you this. Are you actually doing yourself a service by telling pretty much the greatest golfer you don't need help with everything? Bro, you're lying. Give me a second.
Hey, Trot, speaking of, did your boy ever come back to that class? To your shooting class?
What boy?
My boy from Florida. 1K.
Yeah, well, his class was over. Hold on, I'll bring it up in a minute. Give me a second.
Uh-oh. His dog has sniffed the heretic and he's chasing him down the street. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
In case y'all didn't know.
Get out of here. You don't belong here.
DJ, it's your fault.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, that syndrome that that Trot was talking about. That he couldn't think of. Hey, what is that syndrome that you have, Flip? Can you put it in the chat so we can know?
Yeah, Flip.
What's that syndrome that you got,
Oh,
Flip?
shoot. He said ADD. Oh.
Hey, so real quick.
He put
Yeah, so
ADD.
yeah, so real quick, yeah, 1K, you talking about, yeah. I put him in a class, and so the course is 25 hours, and I want to say he might have done 10, maybe. I don't remember the exact hours, maybe 12. Because I try to keep up with everybody's hours, but I understand people got a lot of things going on, but I think he missed 2 or 3 weeks like in a row. Because these people already had started before him, and but I have to put someone. The class is not going on, bro. I don't. If some people don't understand how it works, you have to be in a class. So because he does security, I seen him. He was talking on TikTok one day about something I don't remember. But when I just happened to hear him. Oh, I work here. Da da da. I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, that's right down the road. And I don't know the guy, but because I first have to confirm, like, where he works and what he does. But so I said, hey, bro, I said, I know each other, but I pretty much told him what I did. And so he hit me up and he's like, yeah, bro, I've been needing something like that. And so I put him in a class, but I don't know. I know he's got kids, so I don't know exactly what happened, but a few weeks or a couple of weeks after his class was over, he hit me up and he's like, hey, bro, I need to come shoot. I'm like, bro, your class is over. Like, and I think he was a little salty. It kind of sounded that way, and I was just like, bro, you just took a $2,500 class for free, bro. Like most people would be, thankful. You don't really sound too thankful. You're kind of mad at me. I can't. And again, he kind of sounded like he didn't understand the rules, and I was just kind of like, well, I don't understand. Like, why is he saying he don't understand rules? The rules are actually pretty simple. I contacted you. Like he didn't come find me out. I contacted him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It kind of weird. Like, contacted you.
No, that's a hookup, man.
Yeah.
That's a hookup, bro. Somebody contacts you at your skill level, and they're like, hey, come through. I'm going to teach you how to shoot. I would have ate that up, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened. Like I said, I know he's got kids. But trust me, he learned a lot, bro, because when I always test everybody the first day. And, the Grit Mastery Challenge, and I want to say it took him around maybe 40 seconds. And you got to do it in 20 to get a coin. So I think he got down to about 28. So trust me, he learned a lot. He learned a lot, bro. But yeah. I think what he was looking for is, he want to come whenever he wants, but he don't understand. So law enforcement, security, right? They get taught for free. I just got to put them in the system. They're good to go. But civilians, they got to pay unless they have a coach that has went through my program and basically, they can, I don't want to say it's 100% free, but pretty much free. All right. But that coach can only have so many people under him. Like you can't just 5,000 people be under the same coach. Like it doesn't work that way. But
when is your next class, by the way?
So we just finished, the next class is actually going to be a Grit Mastery basic rifle course. So the next class is going to be a rifle course, and that should be probably the end of September, I think. The handgun course, I might start one in a week or two, maybe, but I'm not sure yet. So it just depends.
It's going to be over the weekend, or it's going to be throughout the week?
I don't know yet. It's possible it'll be weekend though. Right now, it's possible. But
if you give me a heads up on the next time you do a weekend one ahead of time, I really do want to come down there and take that course. I've been trying to for the longest, and I want to bring the one that you saw, the smaller 300. I want to bring that to get that too. Like it's almost there, but it needs to be tweaked.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come, bro, for real. So remember, it's a 25-hour course. So you know you're gonna have to do what, like 4 days, 8 hours a day. But let me say this to you: it doesn't take everybody 25 hours to conduct that challenge at the proper speed. So some people can do it in 15 hours, some can do it in 20. So you might be able to do it 2 or 3 days. You know. But
if I can, I think I'm pretty confident I could. You know, I would say within 16 hours. I hope if I can't get it within 16 hours, I'd be ashamed of myself, to be honest.
Yeah. And I told 1K, I told him, I said, bro, like I offer the basic handgun course, you know, for anyone that works any kind of security, I offer for free. I said, but after that, you have to pay for the courses, bro. Like, you know, and I said, bro, you know, if you want to pay for the next one, you know, and of course I ain't heard nothing, you know, but you know, he wanted to come shoot, but I don't know, but I don't know, you know, you offer stuff for free and it don't always satisfy, you know, everybody. But like I said, I know he's got kids, so, you know, maybe he's not trying to get too personal. Maybe there's something going on. You know, I don't want to like, say something that's not true. I don't know, but man, I mean, bro, I offered a course for free and he just wouldn't show up. And like I said, things happen, but he got something out of it. I can promise you that, because he went from I got his scores written down. He went from like a 40 to a 28, bro, 8 more seconds and he would have got that coin. So I want to say 2 or 3 more sessions. He might've been able to get it because he was getting better. He wasn't getting worse. Yeah. What's up, Flip?
Hey, so I need a little bit of advice. So my stepdaughter, right, my wife's daughter just purchased a body kit, and
how old is this person?
She's 23.
He or she?
She.
What?
Dang, your stepson as old as you are, bro. That's crazy.
You said she.
No,
right?
my stepdaughter, bro.
Oh, stepdaughter. Okay, she's 22, 23. What'd you say?
She's 23.
All right, she bought a body kit. All right, what about it?
So what advice should I give? Because
as far as what?
As far as like, you know, when to use it and whatnot, because I mean,
if I were you, personally, you better not be giving her any advice. You need to tell her to go to an expert. That's what you need to tell her. That's what you need to. Yep, you need to get online and find someone that can prove that they got background, that they really know what they're doing, and you better tell her she needs to go set up a class, bro. Period. I don't care. Period.
Hey, but she's in Texas though. She's in Dallas.
Your family members in Dallas?
Yeah, my wife's daughter lives in Dallas.
Oh, what's she doing up here? She got a job up here or what?
She lived there.
Well, I know, but she's 23, bro, so she ain't been away from home long. She got married up here or what?
No. She's not married. She's you know, she's single.
No. I'm saying, listen.
She's been living out there her whole life.
Oh, I'm getting to what made her move from California, but you said she been living here her whole life.
No, so my wife and the daughter. So obviously my wife lived here, but the daughter was raised by the dad that lives in Texas.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, she lives there in Dallas.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can give her just text me. I can give her a discount, but she can't take it for free. Is she in security?
No, she just got it for protection because she lives in an area where it's
yeah,
not online.
Yeah. Well, just send me a text. I'll text you about it.
All right, I got you.
All right. Yeah. What time is it? Oh, let me look at my big watch. My big watch says it's 12:13.
Hey, tomorrow, I forgot about it till right now, but tomorrow, can we go over the two sons, the bald one and the unboiled one?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, Dre sent me this message. I'm like, oh, bro, it's so easy, bro. So easy. Yeah. Heck yeah. Hey, though, for real though. Hey, for real though, when you
tell myself, is that all you see? I said, why don't you spit on the ground, make some mud, and put it in my eyes? How about that?
I like this dude, bro. Hey, for real though, the first time I read that story, right before I like meditated, but I was just reading through the Bible, bro. I remember thinking, "Whoa, gross, bro. What, bro?" I ain't lying. I was grossed out, bro. I'm like, what?
It is gross.
I was
it happened for real, right?
Yeah,
it is gross.
It did happen. It's
more gross when you realize we're supposed to help the blind see as well, and you're still carnal. So you think,
yeah,
I just need to go spit in some dirt, rub it in their eyes.
Hey, spit in the ground and rub it in my eyes. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So, yeah, Flip, hit me up, bro, and because my wife teaches too, so we can figure something out. Just we'll just send me a text and we'll discuss it. So let me see, Alex, you got something to say before we go, Alex? Oh, I'm sorry. What you say, Mick?
And you don't have to cover it today, but I'd sent you a message. I've been reading 1 Samuel, getting into David, and then also reading Psalms. And then in Samuel, 1 Samuel 17, verse 40, it said when he went out to face Goliath that he took his staff in his hands. So I know that a shepherd would have a staff and a rod, and I understand, was the staff a representation of divine authority? Because why did he take the staff with him when he had the sling and the 5 stones? Because God doesn't put anything in the Bible for it not to make some sense. I've done some pretty in-depth, because I knew you'd ask me 1,000 questions. So I've done some pretty in-depth trying to understand why he would have took the staff with him to face Goliath.
Yeah, so David...
And I can't figure it out.
Yeah, so David writes, he writes down in the Psalms, he says, "For your rod and your staff comfort me." Right? That's what he writes. So the question would be, what physical rod and physical staffs comforts somebody? So we say, oh, well, it's a shepherd. So, it helps fight off wolves.
Unknown caller.
Right? It helps fight off wolves. But bro, he's writing this down talking to God. And he says, your rod and your staff comforts me. That's what he says. Your rod and your staff, right? So Moses' rod, right? For the 10 plagues that happened in Egypt, Moses and Aaron. Right.
So was a rod smaller than a staff for like a shepherd? They used the rod to, like, if a sheep wandered off, to like break his leg to keep it, and then to keep it with the herd.
Yeah. Well, so one of them is used to keep all the animals in line. It's usually got a hook on the end of it, and it's used to like pull back, some of the other ones. The other one was used to sometimes hit the animal or to fight off a wolf, like you're talking physical, right? But basically, the rod and the staff is used to keep everything in order, right? Because the shepherd has the authority in his hand. That's what that's referring to, right? So, but
so that staff would have been like, I don't want to say a support structure of some sort, but that just the divinity that he had facing Goliath.
So let me just say this: further through Moses' story, Joshua was leading a battle, and Moses said, "Let me go on the mountain, and I'm going to lift up the rod." Okay. And when he went and lifted up the rod, the Hebrews started winning the fight. So as the rod was lifted up in the air, the Hebrews were winning the battle. But when his arms got tired and started going closer to the ground, they started losing the battle. What was it about that rod? Why did Moses have for them to win the battle?
Just divinity. I mean,
yeah. So
the power of God.
Yeah. So you got a Bible right there with you?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Go to Isaiah 11 and read 1 through 4.
Okay. 1 through 4, and it's the New King James. 11, 1 through 4. There shall come forth a rod from the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, and the Spirit of knowledge and of fear of the Lord. His delight is in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge by the sight of his eyes, nor decide by the hearing of his ears.
Who's he? Who's he right there? Read it again.
3.
No, start from 1.
There shall come forth a rod from the stem of Jesse.
Who's Jesse?
David's father.
Okay. So a rod is going to come from the stem of Jesse. And what about this rod?
A branch shall grow out of its roots, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him.
Rest upon him. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, this rod. Could that be the rod that David said, "For your staff and rod comfort me"?
Yeah.
So when Aaron and Moses went to Pharaoh, Moses had a rod in his hand. Was there any there?
No.
So the staff and the rod, it's not just talking about a shepherd and a bunch of sheep all the time, right?
Right.
Okay. So to Pharaoh, Pharaoh's magicians come because Moses threw his rod down and it turned into a serpent. And then the magicians threw their rods down and each of their rod turned into a serpent. So Moses came in the name of who?
The Most High.
Right. And so the magicians came to Moses in whose name?
Pharaoh's.
Pharaoh. How come Pharaoh didn't have the staff? How come Pharaoh didn't throw a staff down against Moses?
He wasn't anointed by anyone.
No. It's because Moses was a messenger of God. And the magicians were messengers of Pharaoh. Because Moses is representing God and Pharaoh is representing, Moses is a representation, right? A representer, a messenger of God, but the message was brought to Satan, Pharaoh, and Satan has his messengers. So the rod in the Old Testament is authority. That's what the rod is, authority. So Moses came in the authority of God to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh sent his messengers, and those messengers came in the authority, the rods of Satan, Pharaoh. So now you have messengers on both sides, right? God's not actually standing there, but Pharaoh is. But he doesn't have the rod because he has people that carry out his authority, just like God does, right? So when they all threw the rods down, Moses' rod ate the other two snakes. And then Moses picks up his rod, and it's the only authority left. Right?
Yeah.
So that rod was used to do that. That rod was used for the 10 plagues. They get to the Red Sea. Moses is crying to God, hey, they're going to get us. God says, why criest thou to me? Take the rod. So he had to tell him again. So God is showing him, you have something in your hand that is my authority, and that's what you have to use. God is showing him this, but he's not telling him, he's showing him. But he forgets. He did it 11 times already. The snakes. We get to the Red Sea, and he's crying out to God. God says, why criest thou to me? So today, people always cry out to God because they still don't recognize what God gave them. Moses did not recognize what he had. He thought it was just a stick. So when Moses finally said, hey, look, when you go to battle, I'm going to take the rod and go up the hill. Why did he know to take the rod? How did he know the rod was going to do something?
I don't know.
Well, because God done showed him several times that the rod has the authority. Not
initially, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he knew that it was the rod. It wasn't him. It wasn't Aaron. It was the rod. Whenever the people murmured against Moses and Aaron, Moses said, every man give me his rod. And the next day we'll know who God speaks to. And Aaron's rod budded on. What do you think that meant?
Yeah, the true rod.
He had authority, that Aaron had the authority because he was the high priest. Right? So on and on, the Bible shows us this. David read the scriptures and he was able to see that rod meant something. He knew. David knew. So most people, when they talk about David and Goliath, they don't talk about the rod. They talk about the sling and the stone. Because the way God writes, the way God authors things, is he does it to where your flesh will not pick up on the most insignificant thing in the story. So to the flesh, the rod is irrelevant, insignificant. You know why? It's irrelevant and insignificant to a man, a carnal-minded man, because a carnal-minded man will say, oh, well, of course he took the rod with him. He's a shepherd. Yeah, but why did he take it right before he went to go fight Goliath? Well, because it was his favorite rod, and he didn't want to lose it. No, bro. It's because David knew. David knew.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, but that's why I went all the way back so you can see that David saw something with this rod. Okay?
Amen.
So he took the rod after he took off the physical armor Paul gave him. He picked up the one thing that he needed, which was God's authority. When Jesus came in this world, he said, all authority has been given unto me, because Jesus is the rod that Moses carried. That David carried. That's why David said, for your rod and your staff comfort me. So
I mirrored those two together, you know.
Yeah.
I've never really, until I really started to just, because I wanted to read about David, and obviously you wanted to start in 1 Samuel, and well, this means something, and what does it mean? And then I looked up, I Googled it back and forth, and I knew it meant authority and divine authority, and I knew it was something like that, but I just wanted to piece it together perfectly.
Yeah. There's more of them in there. I mean, I just I made it as quick as I could. But Jesus, I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. And so in the book of Revelation, it talks about an iron rod. Okay. Right. The Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron. right? And so the iron rod is Jesus in the spirit. So we all have the rod of God, the authority of God, the iron rod that lives on the inside of us. So when we're going through a hard time in life, God once again says, "Why criest thou unto me? Take the rod." I already given it to you. You already have everything you need. You just need to understand that. Moses didn't understand that at first, but he started getting it. You know, same thing with the water that came out of the rock. God said, "Hey, take the rod and strike the rock." And he did. Water came out. And the second time he told him to speak to it, because that would have been the iron rod. But it was easier for him to earn the water. Why? Because he was under the law. He was used to earning it. So he started hitting it again. but God told him to speak to it. And he didn't know how to do that. He couldn't trust that. That was hard to do. So, but yeah, so that's fine. I didn't mind going over that, man. No problem. I'm trying to hop off though. Mick, you got something to say before we hop off?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. CJ, what you got?
Nada. God bless. Have a good
All
day.
right. Taylor, what's up?
Oh, I was gonna ask you for tomorrow, and CJ wrote something down for me on Friday. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
He's right. He's right there. He's right there. Ask him. CJ, what's he talking about?
I am right here. I'm pulling it up now.
Okay. Yeah, Jennifer, what you got?
Have y'all ever went over the threshing floor on here? I was looking on your old YouTube.
I'm sure I have. I mean, you know, it's I don't know, man. Like, so everybody knows by now that my Wi-Fi is not the best. And if I try to edit it while it's uploading, sometimes I don't know why. Sometimes it messes it up. So I have to let it finish uploading. Dude, it could take all day for the freaking live to upload. And by that time, I'm out there working, doing something, you know? So I just, I don't know. Hopefully this new service we got hopefully gets better and I can start, you know, putting a title on the live or whatever. The front, what do you say? How long does it take to come out of an oppressed way of thinking? In which way? Like, what kind of oppressed way of thinking? Front porch pulpit, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of oppressed way are we talking about? Can we go over Moses' body again? Yeah, just bring it up when we're live.
I'm not seeing it, Taylor. Not looking good, Taylor. It's not looking good. Go through how Jesus is the fulfillment. No, that's not it.
No. I think it was second Samuel, maybe.
The only second Samuel I have is the 23 with 20 through 22, which is talking about the handsome and goodly.
Yeah, no, that's not it. I'll find
It
it.
could have been okay. It could have been off of that, like we were going over that the last time. So it could have been.
No,
from
it was a specific question where where two men went into the well, and then I can't remember the woman's name, but she covers the well with a covering and then grain. I wanted to something like that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, y'all just bring that day. Alex, what you got before we go, man?
God bless you, and God bless everyone watching. Have a good day.
Absolutely. The front porch pulpit. You can bring your question. Hopefully tomorrow, if you remember or whatever, and we can go over that so I can know like exactly what you mean. But all right, guys. God bless. We see y'all in the morning.